So all of the motorcycle officers have already been dispatched for traffic control, which is why we see a scaled down motorcycle cordon at the beginning of this. But there's the car, Sandra, carrying the president, former president.
And Jonathan, we can bring you in as we do watch the departure there from Trump National. The New York Times this morning writing the playbook is well worn, play the victim, blame the deep state. They are predicting that will be the strategy of the former president. How do you believe he is strategizing to try to beat his indictment?
Well, it's clear that he's making much of his pitch to the court of public opinion that may, in fact, be more relevant than it usually is in a given case. Because, you know, if he's elected or Republicans elected, they could, in fact, issue a pardon that ends this case. So that is one court that has some meaning here. In terms of the allegations of selective prosecution, it's unlikely a jury will hear those arguments.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to live coverage of Donald Trump on the move in Miami, Florida. It's your boy Benny. Let's go ahead and check in on the live shot. Donald Trump moving in early today. This is in front of the courthouse. This is live right now. You are looking at Donald Trump potentially arriving at the courthouse. This caught us off guard. Donald Trump was supposed to move at 2:30, and not even Fox News has up their live feed yet. Donald Trump's caught everyone off guard. In New York, when he was arraigned, it was like 3 hours late. Now there, I believe, I'm almost positive that, yes, that's absolutely the presidential limousine. That's absolutely an armored vehicle. This is Donald Trump arriving currently, right now, at the courthouse in Miami. He left Doral, the club that he has there. It is a golf club. And it is absolutely pandemonium out front of the building. We have so much to show you. We've been preparing for this show. We've been gathering clips. Some of them hysterical. Some of them will make you laugh till you cry. Some of them will make you cry till you cry. All of them are pretty entertaining. But Donald Trump, always the one to, I suppose, trick us with his movements. What can you say, man? The guy's unpredictable. It was like 2 hours late in New York, and today he's about an hour early. He went on the move at 1:30. We were able to get live in about 15 minutes after that. He left Doral, and there is his motorcade stopped in the middle of the street there in Miami. You can see on the corner there the little Trump flags. Uh-oh, where's our shot? Where's that going? It's not our shot. This is the global news. It's live TV, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. Donald Trump, in the greatest cover-up in history for Joe Biden's crimes, will be arrested because of the mishandling or his handling of classified documents. We have a lot of sights and sounds from the ground. We have our full producer network standing by. We, in fact, have people on the ground in front of the courthouse who will be joining us. And also, we have individuals who were with Donald Trump last night who will be joining us. And also, we have Jim Jordan, Representative Jim Jordan, who needs, of course, no introduction, who will be joining us live momentarily. Jim Jordan coming fresh off the floor votes for Donald Trump. And here we go. This is actually, I believe, the presidential limousine. My producers are telling me that this is actually, I believe, the presidential limousine here, with Donald Trump in it. The way that you know this is because you have the ambulance in the back. Now, why is the ambulance there? In case something horrible or unspeakable were to happen. They always have the president's blood type. They always have medical staff standing by in order to facilitate and in order to be there to prepare for any type of medical emergency. Let's just leave it at that, right? It's a dangerous world we live in. There are some dangerous lunatics, obviously, out and about in front of the courthouse. A lot of Soros-paid actors. We have footage of that and proof of that, in fact. And there is that Donald Trump? Nope. No. But presumably we will get the shot of Donald Trump as he walks in. Again, ladies and gentlemen, happening live. This is live. We are so quick to this. Fox News doesn't even have their live coverage up online. So that's how quick we were able to snap into place here for our show. And here, of course, is a shot of the Trump crowds gathered in front of the courthouse. Everyone remains peaceful. Everyone remains calm and kind to our police officers who are just doing their jobs there in Miami, Florida. A lot of people in Miami, Florida of Cuban descent. Rolls-Royce, who works on our show, of Cuban descent. Rolls-Royce is manning the producer position here, along with ALX. Rolls-Royce of Cuban descent, and Cubans don't like dictators, do they? They don't like, the Cubans don't like communist dictators, do they? Is your family here because a dirtbag communist dictator?
That's right.
That's right. All right. Yeah, I think that the Cubans in Miami are super based. We have footage of them, actually, in interviews that we'll play for you in a moment here, but there's too much activity outside of the courthouse, so we will not cut away. We will show you what's happening outside of the courthouse right now with our live commentary. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking here at ALX. Danny, do we have any word if Donald Trump is inside of the building? We see there the Florida State Troopers. Those are all the men, the impressive men on their motorcycles there. Salty, salty tears for Antifa, who may want to cause some type of ruckus today. I don't think this is going to be your January 6th. Yeah, you guys aren't going to be able to LARP as Trump supporters. Not with this crowd. People are wise. People are wise. And keep your head on a swivel there. Keep your head on a swivel there, lady. Watch out for guys saying, we got to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. Yeah. Be smart. Be smart. No hooliganism. So these are live shots out front of the courthouse. Obviously, a lot of Trump supporters. A huge cavalry of police officers there. I'm being told by my producer that Donald Trump is not in the building yet. That Donald Trump has not arrived yet in front of the building. Please check that again. Once again, give me information. I want to check right now if Donald Trump has arrived in the building. Because there were those shots of Donald Trump in New York. Again, we don't want to cut away. This is our live shot. We don't want to cut away. That's the federal courthouse. We don't want to cut away. Judge Cannon is the judge who is based and is awesome and is a Trump appointee, and she's going to be overseeing this case. Donald Trump's going to walk in and ask for them to throw the case out. Donald Trump's going to walk in the building and be like, you got to throw this out. This is fake news. And hopefully they do. We'll see. There are some officials walking up. We won't cut away. We can remind you, however, of Donald Trump. Make sure that we get those photos, guys, of Donald Trump getting into and out of the courthouse in New York. We had the epic photos of Trump doing the thumbs up, doing the wave, doing the fist pump, doing the very ratchet, very triumphant Trump going in and out of the court. And I have a feeling he's going to do the same thing today. Donald Trump has just posted on Truth Social, and I will read it to you here, and we don't want to cut away from the live shot in case something happens. On my way to the courthouse, witch hunt MAGA! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Donald Trump on Truth Social. Here's the Hulk Hogan of MAGA, I guess. There with a guitar. Guys going big. Can we pull audio from this, Royce? We able to get a little bit of audio here? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get you some audio from Sights and Sounds. Well, now we're just back on the cops. Okay, there we go. We can hear this all right, ALX? Yep, okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have out front of the courthouse, they are preparing for the arrival of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is posting on social media, posting on Truth Social. Do we have Trump's Truth Social? Okay. All right. Got it. Once again, you guys know what it looks like when Donald Trump posts on Truth. On my way to the courthouse, witch hunt, exclamation point, MAGA. That's what he says there. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to stick on this live shot. This is happening now. Donald Trump was early today. Here we go. Donald Trump is going to be arrested today for Joe Biden's crimes. Pretty special moment in American history. Hasn't ever happened. Wow. A president getting arrested for another president's crimes. How special. My goodness. What a country we got here. Boy, what a special little place. So here's what happened. Donald Trump was impeached for asking questions about Joe Biden's clear and obvious corruption in Ukraine. And this is probably a good time to remind you that we are in contact with Jim Jordan's staff. Jim Jordan is coming directly from the floor of the House of Representatives after he's done with his vote to join our show. Jim Jordan will be on this program as soon as he is off the floor. Voting on the floor currently is where Jim Jordan is. And I would like to ask Jim Jordan, of course, about Joe Biden's interesting business relationship with Ukraine, which can best be described as him bribing the Ukrainian government and getting super rich off it and clearly committing impeachable offenses. So Donald Trump was impeached for asking about that. That's what Donald Trump was impeached for. So that's the first time that Donald Trump suffered for the crimes of Joe Biden. I mean, it's not even that like Joe Biden doesn't suffer for it. It's that Donald Trump needs to now go to jail for the crimes of Joe Biden. Now, what do I mean by that now? So that's about Ukraine. What about this? Well, Donald Trump, they're going to say in jail today, and I've read the indictment. It's a fraudulent, absolutely fraudulent piece of work. Fraudulent because it doesn't take into account the Presidential Records Act, the fact that Donald Trump has plenary power to classify, declassify, hold classified document. He gets a congressionally funded, taxpayer-funded SCIF in order to fund the classification and documentation of his documents. Donald Trump was the president of the United States. That means he was the commander-in-chief. Joe Biden was none of those things when Joe Biden hoovered up and stole classified documents from the federal government, used them to enrich himself in Ukraine. We have the photos and emails that prove that. Essentially, lent those documents out to the Chinese government and the Ukrainian government to oogle inside of his dirty think tank. And it's Joe Biden who is roundly and flatly guilty of these crimes, which they will now try and charge Donald Trump with. Now, this is a grand jury indictment. So what does that mean? A grand jury indictment's a very interesting process. The grand jury process does not allow the defense to make a defense. The grand jury process simply allows the federal government to make its case before members of that jury to say, should there be a trial? The indictment is not proving anyone is guilty or innocent. The indictment is simply saying that the trial can go forward. So Donald Trump hasn't even been able to argue his case in court yet. And here we are. These are the live shots. They're going to be a little bit glitchy. Obviously, the reason why they're going to be glitchy is not your internet service or mine. It is the fact that it's very hard to do these live shots when there are so many phones and so much of the Secret Service equipment around. When the Secret Service comes and rolls through a place, they really shut down the signal for cell phones and things. That's a security precaution to make sure that people can't remotely punch buttons on nefarious objects and so forth. There was a scare earlier today at this courthouse. They had to shut down the entire block radius because they found a strange device at the courthouse. So there's already shenanigans going on right now. And so there is certainly, obviously, a very high level of security here. And the Secret Service shuts down cell phone service and cell phone coverage and the ability for you to get Wi-Fi or transmit images pretty effectively when they want to. And when they're trying to essentially secure an area. So that's why you might see some of these glitchy shots of the crowd there. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are living in the Matrix. We are living inside of a clown world where where the ruling political party can indict their leading political opponent, and depending on which poll you look at, Donald Trump is leading by 30, sometimes 40 points inside of the Republican nomination, and also beating Joe Biden quite handily, depending on the polls you look at, in the 2024 election. Joe Biden is not going to have an easy race in the 2024 election. I think they're going to get rid of Joe Biden by the 2024 election. I think they're going to replace him. I think they're going to do an old switcheroo, and that's why people aren't endorsing Joe Biden. But that's just me, baby. That's just me. This is the Truman Show, says Victoria. On YouTube. Yep, you're exactly right. It is. This is, it's fake world. It's Fugazi. It's clown world. This is a fake world. We live inside of a fake world. Donald Trump is once more, for another time in his career, being charged with Joe Biden's crimes. Really exciting, really special. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, we look forward to Donald Trump's arrival here at the court. We're going to click off the live stream. We're going to come back when there's something more interesting happening. We're going to show you what it looked like when Donald Trump arrived at the court in New York City. When Donald Trump was arriving in New York, these were the defiant images of Donald Trump arriving at the courthouse. Ladies and gentlemen, our intrepid producer, Royce, will be here. There we go. All right. This was Donald Trump in the courthouse. Do we have the arrival shots? There we go. The fist pump, the defiance. That's the sort of the butler at Trump Tower there. This is the one. The man versus the machine. This is the iconic photograph of Donald Trump's arrival there at the courthouse in New York City. This is what we will get here soon, ladies and gentlemen, in Florida, but perhaps a very, very different version of it. We'll see. But this was the man versus the monster. The man versus the machine. Donald Trump's arrival at the courthouse in New York. This is what we got. The judge has ruled that there will not be any cameras allowed. There will not be even any photographs allowed inside of the court. And so what you'll be able to see of Donald Trump will be him and his arrival. All right. There are chants. Miami for Trump chants. So I believe that we have outside of the Miami court ahead of Trump's appearance. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are doing it live here. Miami for Trump chants. Do we got it, Royce? Yep. Okay. Here's what it sounded like outside of the court. Have a listen. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was Miami for Trump. Some of the sound we couldn't get because the video was glitching. We are monitoring the live feed right now. We are watching and looking. And my producer is checking to see if perhaps Donald Trump might have gone into a side door or garage entrance for security purposes. We're working on it, ladies and gentlemen. We're working on it. We want to get that defiant Donald Trump walking in and out of the court. I highly doubt that they're going to miss that moment, but we shall see. We are currently monitoring, once again, the live stream. Let's go back. Let's cut back to that live stream. Have a look here. We got individuals being filmed outside of the court. Somebody giving a statement, it looks like, outside of the court. There's Dan Scavino. Okay, so that's a good sign. That's Scavino. And there's Stephen Chung. Okay, so I know who both those guys are. Stephen Chung is a body man for Donald Trump for the 2024 campaign, a close and trusted aide. Dan Scavino is, of course, the closest aide and friend to Donald Trump. Both of them are standing there outside of the court right now. Those are two heavy hitters. They're the guys who are in charge of Donald Trump's press appearances and social media. Scavino and Stephen Chung, respectively. And so I believe that they are... We'll see if that's them being brought around or if that's just a sort of a gaggle of police officers there. But those individuals standing out front of the court are big-time Donald Trump aides. Now, I would have to assume that if those guys are standing out front of the court, that Donald Trump would be inside of the court right now because Dan Scavino never leaves Donald Trump's side. I've interviewed Donald Trump before, boy, half dozen times. Scavino's always there. Scavino doesn't sleep. Like, Scavino is always and perpetually there by Trump's side. Do we have audio on this? Want to hear what it's like? No? Okay. All right. Let's get back to the YouTube. Make sure we do that swap-a-roo. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looked like outside of Trump Doral when they were preparing to go get Donald Trump. This is sort of the army of cops that got into formation to bring Trump to the courthouse. So that is, again, the phalanx of police officers that bring in Donald Trump to the courthouse. Here is our live drone shot of the courthouse. This is a great shot. You haven't seen this shot before. Fantastic shot. You can see there from the local news there, the crowds gathered outside of the courthouse. What's interesting to me is that there seem to be more people in New York than here. This, there's quite an interesting little cadre of people, and we have some really funny clips to show you because we have a number of reporters on the ground, friends of the show, and people who work directly with our show on the ground there in front of the building. You can see here some fascinating live shots of Trump supporters in front of the courthouse. Obviously, a lot of Trump flags, a lot of American flags, a lot of red caps. The caps stay on there in front of the courthouse. And I would argue for every one Trump supporter, there's got to be one international media camera or media camera inside of the press gaggle. I mean, the press gaggle is just completely and totally massive. But once more, caught off guard. Caught off guard today because Donald Trump got on the road early. And I suppose just wanted to get this ridiculous charade over with. We had a member of our staff who was with Donald Trump last night, who will be joining us soon as well. His name's Danny DeUrbina. He was with Donald Trump at Doral last night. Danny will be joining us and talking with us about, I mean, probably one of the last people who's been directly with Donald Trump before this happened. Danny was celebrating his birthday dinner last night, and will join us when we're done with sort of this live stream because I don't want to miss anything, and more importantly, I don't want to miss Jim Jordan, who will be joining us. ALX, get me a wellness check on Jim Jordan. Will be joining us. Wow, very soon, very very soon. Jim Jordan is again heading from the floor votes on the House of Representatives directly into joining our program to talk about what is going on here today, and then also to talk about the thing that I would like to talk the most about, which is Joe Biden's crimes. And why does Donald Trump keep getting arrested for Joe Biden's crimes? What a strange thing to have happen. There's the monorail. Apparently, this is taking place at Epcot Center. That's what happens in Florida. Everyone gets tried at Epcot. So that is the road that is in front of the courthouse. You can see lots of Trump people out front. Donald Trump, political prisoner for daring to challenge the regime. The vibe is generally joyous out front of the building. We do have some really hysterical video from outside of the building from a guy who dressed up as Donald Trump walking up to CNN's cameras. We got all these great videos, but I don't know. I really love this drone shot. It's really interesting to me. I'm going to stay with it. We have all this content to play for you. We have like an hour's worth of like interesting clips and news pieces to play for you to sort of build up to this moment. But I'm very fascinated by like the current look. Look at this great shot. Look at that dude with his Trump mobile. That is the MAGA mobile riding down the road with the Blue Lives Matter, Firefighter Lives Matter flag, doing the laps. Got some audio on this. Let's hear it. A little hard to hear. But, ladies and gentlemen, again, we are bringing this to you live. This is it. So, I got to tell you, if Scavino's outside of the building, Donald Trump went into a secure and secret entrance. There is no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump absolutely went in. There we go. ALX, give me a double check on that. But Scavino never leaves Trump's side. So Donald Trump, whilst I believe Donald Trump would most likely go and probably make an appearance after they do the whatever they're going to do inside of the court, which is not going to be taking a mug shot. Here are the things we know: no mug shot, no fingerprinting. Donald Trump won't have to surrender any of his items or any of his things. Like, he's not going to have to empty his pockets Donald Trump effectively is going to walk into the court, be read the charges, and then say I'm innocent, and then walk out. Jim Jordan, once again, will be joining our program. Jim Jordan is inbound, ladies and gentlemen. You won't want to miss that. And, of course, we'll bring you this information live. We can keep the live feed up with Jim Jordan on the show. So if anything happens out front of the building, again, last time Donald Trump did a fist pump, motioned at the audience, waved at the audience, spoke a little bit out front of his building. But as of right now, Donald Trump is inside of the building. We are being told that, yes, he went into a secure garage that did not have any public access for security purposes. Look at that MAGA-mobile. Boom, shakalaka, and there's the motorcycle. Rocking and rolling in front of the building. They're still letting all the traffic through. They didn't do this in New York. Still letting all the traffic through. You can see the reflection of the cameras there. All right. So we have a clip of the motorcade going into the garage. We'll load that up so you guys can see the official arrival. No one was on to capture it because Donald Trump was indisputably an hour early today for his departure to the courthouse. So we got up and going as fast as we possibly could. Ladies and gentlemen, it's part of the reason. Look at some of these great cars. Look at this great. Like a Trump parade. Look at it. Look at that guy with a giant flag. Sweet. And here's some more. There are some super entertaining things that have been going on outside of this courthouse today. One of my favorites was a Trump impersonator walking up to CNN and trolling CNN. Do you have that, Royce, where it can play side by side? Okay, fantastic. Here, have a look at this.
Caitlin Collins, we meet again. We meet again. Such a nasty person, unbelievable. Show the people. They won't show. Caitlin Collins. It's such a disgrace. Look at this guy. Unbelievable. Come here, sir. Unbelievable. We do so well with the African Americans. You look at the numbers through the.
All right. So that was good. That was Caitlin Collins, right? You remember Caitlin Collins there. Guys, I just saw Alina Habba, who's Trump's attorney. Is she giving a statement right now? Were they doing a replay there? Check. Danny ALX. Get me, baby. I saw Alina Habba standing up and speaking. I obviously don't want to miss that if that's happening live, but this is our live shot. And I would assume if she was up talking that they would that she'd be on every camera. Yeah, okay. Got it. There we go.
The decision to
there we go.
Charges against President Trump while turning a blind eye to others is emblematic of the corruption that we have here.
This is Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba.
We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon. This is not our America. Thank you.
So what's happening right now inside the courthouse? Has he been arrested? Has he been fingerprinted? Has a mugshot been taken? Walk us through what's happening here now.
President Trump is in a very unique position where he doesn't need to be given a mugshot, obviously. He is not a flight risk. He is the leading candidate of the GOP at the moment. He is going through a process that has been coordinated with Secret Service, and it will all be handled seamlessly.
Thank you, guys. The attorneys, what is his state of mind? Just real quick, how is he feeling?
He's defiant.
He's defiant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alina Habba. Thank you, Team Trump.
Very interesting there. Alina Habba saying that Donald Trump is defiant when asked what his mood is. Defiant. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm seeing all the bananas. Throw out some bananas for a Banana Republic in the comment section. I want to see those bananas raining down like it was Donkey Kong up in here. I want to be Donkey Kong up in the comment section. Give me bananas for Banana Republic. Alina Habba, and I've just gotten word that Jim Jordan is getting set. Jim Jordan will be joining us very, very soon. You will be able to watch this with your boy Benny and with Jim Jordan. Bananas, bananas, bananas. Banana Republic, ladies and gentlemen. It is a Banana Republic. It is not a real democracy. This is a clown car driven by the clowns. Now the entire comment section. Give me one with all those bananas. Click on that one. There you go. There you go. Boom. Welcome to Biden's Banana Republic. Biden's banana. Don't search Hunter Biden's laptop for that. Please. I beg of you. You'll have to go to confession. And also get one of those things from Men in Black where it flashes and then you forget everything. It's Forgiato Blow with Blacks for Trump. There we go. Forgiato Blow. This guy just had the #1 rap song in America, Boycott Target, and he is singing out front of the courthouse. It is a wild time in Miami tonight. Hot night in Miami. What's he singing? Can't hear it super well. Again, this is coming to you live, ladies and gentlemen. So Forgiato Blow, MAGA rapper, is out front of the courthouse. Blacks for Trump. This is a group that's been around since Donald Trump announced his run in 2015. They've been supporting Donald Trump. Lots of bananas thrown into the Biden Banana Republic in the comment section. Thank you all for your bananas. Very, very sad and very, very embarrassing for our nation. Oh, there's a lot of them. Thanks, Shauna. Thank you, Shauna. And Larry. My God. It is indeed, ladies and gentlemen, clown car. Tina Chavez says, with the clowns and the bananas. We do live inside of a clown time. There is the Trump flags waving and a phalanx of Trump flags waving in front of the building. Boom. Alina Habba just spoke to us. Now, recalling what Alina Habba said. She said that this is a Banana Republic. She said that this is not something that happens here. You're not allowed to put your political enemies in prison. Of course, Hillary Clinton was exonerated for this exact same thing. And the exact words of James Comey, the iconoclast of the left, the paramour of proper procedure for handling of law and order via the left, right? Via, if you were to believe the people who pay James Comey on MSNBC and CNN. Oh, yes, the top G-man. James Comey is the one who said that Hillary Clinton was extremely reckless with criminally reckless with hundreds of classified documents. Hillary Clinton was never president of the United States, had no right to ever handle any of those documents or to keep personal copies of them, unlike Donald Trump, who does have that right. And James Comey said no reasonable prosecutor would ever bring a case like that. So now you have the president of the United States, and they are bringing the case? That don't make no sense, as my grandfather would say. It don't make no sense. Ladies and gentlemen, there is one man in all of politics who has made, I think, the most sense for many, many years. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm a huge fan of collegiate wrestling and because this man is a legend in collegiate wrestling. I'm not just saying that because this man, even though he is more advanced in age than I, could totally kick my ass. You know it. You know it. Jim Jordan. He is a fit man. He's a man who is fit mentally, he's fit physically, and he's been fighting for a long time. Oftentimes, he has been the voice in the darkness, calling out the corruption in Washington, D.C. And Jim Jordan, ladies and gentlemen, has been proven right. He has been vindicated time and time again, and I believe he'll be proven right once more. Jim Jordan joins the program live now. Representative, I certainly appreciate you joining us. We do
Well,
have
I
a
always
live
talk
feed.
to a wrestling fan, collegiate wrestling, knows this little something about the tradition of Iowa wrestling. So good to be with you, brother.
Thank you, brother. We will keep the live feed up just because it's very interesting. I hope you don't mind. It'll be
Sure,
some
no problem.
color commentary. Donald Trump's attorney just spoke here in front of the court. Thank you for joining our program. Fresh off of this news, I'd like to just start the top of the show off. Give me your take on what's happening to Donald Trump in Miami today.
Oh, I mean, ridiculous, unprecedented, wrong. You can pick the word you want to use, but it's a pattern. I mean, it started in 20. I'd say that every single election they went after this guy to try to impact the American election process, to interfere in our election. 2016, it was the fake dossier that they knew was fake, that they used to spy on his campaign. 2018, it was the Mueller investigation, 3 years, 19 lawyers, 40 agents, $30 million, found nothing. Then in 2020, it was the suppression of the Biden laptop. 51 former intel officials used their title, used the gravitas of former head of the DNI and former head of the CIA to give us a false narrative about that laptop. And what they said in that letter was false. 2022, they raid his home 91 days before an election. And here we are, President Trump leading in every single poll in the 2024 race. And he's going to be indicted here in a few minutes. So it is as wrong as it gets. And the country, I think anyone with common sense sees the double. They see that, So Secretary Clinton, President Biden, and President Trump are all accused of the same concern about how they handle classified documents. So you got three people with the same concern, but only one gets indicted. How is that justice? How is that fairness? How is that equal application of our law? So again, I think the country sees it for what it is. And but these guys, golly, they're political, and they go after President Trump because he's fighting for us.
Can you please explain to me, as somebody who has fought Hillary Clinton in that corrupt machine long before we had any idea what they were about to do to Donald Trump, can you please explain to me what are the differences here in this situation? Because a lot of people are screaming in the comment section, hold up, didn't James Comey say that no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against Hillary?
Yeah, he sure did. The differences are President Trump's a Republican and a conservative and fighting to make America great again, fighting for America first principles. And Secretary Clinton's a Democrat. I mean, that's the difference. Joe Biden can have classified documents, 4 different locations, and nothing seems to be happening with Robert Hur's special counsel investigation. So that's the difference. Is here's a guy who came to this town, took it on, and because he did so, they never stopped coming after. Remember when Durham testified, July 23rd, I think it was, of 2019, Durham testified. And he says, no collusion, no conspiracy, no coordination between Trump and Russia. It was all made up. It's all BS. All made up. He testifies. The Democrats say, we don't care. And the very next day, they couldn't even wait 24 hours. The next day, there's a phone call between President Trump, President Zelensky. They seize on that as the basis for their crazy impeachment. So we just got to understand, with these guys on the left, they're never going to stop attacking the people who are out to change how Washington works. And of course, the guy at the front of the pack on that was President Trump. Did more what he said he would do than any president, certainly in my lifetime. That's why I'm for him. That's why I'm glad he's running again, and I want him to win. That's what's really at stake here. That's the difference.
I'm so glad that you brought up that Zelensky call. Because now, given the revelations of Congress and the Oversight Committee, we now know that you were right. We now know that Joe Biden, effectively, Donald Trump was impeached for his crimes. Donald Trump was impeached for Joe Biden's criminality in Ukraine. They knew that he was over the target, and they impeached him for it. Can you give me sort of, as somebody who has been professionally right on this issue for the better part of 3 years, do you feel a little vindicated now, given the news cycle about the secret recordings from the Ukrainian oligarchs, the FD 1023?
Yeah. One of the things I always say is, I don't know if I've been right, but one of the things I think that we the only thing we seem to always get wrong is it's always worse than we thought. I mean, who'd have thunk they'd have done this the way they did? I mean, we now know the dossier was paid for by the Clinton campaign, but if you look at the Durham report, the information in the dossier also came from the Clinton campaign. That's crazy. And that dossier was then used to go spy on an American citizen associated with President Trump's campaign. Again, you can't make this stuff up. Now we have the 1023, an unclassified document that the FBI created by talking to a confidential human source they had paid for a long time, who was very credible. The source, when I read this document a week ago, now I read the redacted version, but the committee had access to this. So committee members, when I read it, the thing that stuck out to me, Benny, was this. There's a conversation the source is having excuse me, having with the foreign national, the guy who supposedly allegedly paid President Biden, and then President Biden took certain actions because of that payment. So the source is talking with the foreign national, and the source says, hey, you better be careful dealing with the Bidens. Trump's won the White House, and you better be careful continuing to deal with the Bidens. The foreign national says, he goes, well, we got nothing to worry about because there were so many banks that we ran this money through, so many different ways we did this. And then he says this, he says, and we never paid the big guy directly. And to me, that stuck out because now this is the second time we've seen that term, the big guy, used. And the first time we heard about it was in October of 2020. This document, though, where this foreign national uses it, was written in June of 2020. So this is someone who's allegedly paying the Bidens using the same term that we learned about a few months later. And when we learned about it a few months later in October, it wasn't someone paying Biden. It was someone on the receipt end. It was business partner of Hunter Biden. So now you got guys on both sides of the equation talking about the big guy. And of course, to me, the fundamental question is always, if the big guy isn't Joe Biden, who the heck is it? Yeah. Who is it? Just tell us who it is. If it's not Joe Biden, who is it? Can we now have two people using that same term? Again, one on the paying end, one on the receiving end. That to me seems pretty incriminating.
Yes. I mean, it all seems pretty incriminating. Chuck Grassley dropped a weaponized bombshell on the political world saying that there are recordings, 17 of them, including Joe and Hunter. Do you have access to those recordings? Do you know of their existence and their whereabouts right now?
All I know is what Senator Grassley said. My understanding is that part is that redacted part about those recordings. I think it's in the same section I was just citing to you. So, but again, that wasn't in the version of this document that I was allowed to. But sort of raises the fundamental question too: if this document's not classified, why was the recordings redacted?
Yes.
Why was that redacted? Remember the history here too. Initially, Christopher Wray said, we're not confirming whether this document exists or not. When the whistleblower first came forward, we don't know if it's. Then he said, well, yeah, it exists, but we're not going to let you see it. Then it was, well, it exists. We're not going to let you see it. Well, actually, we are going to let the chairman and the ranking member see it. Then it's like, well, now we'll let the full committee see it. At some point, the country needs to be able to see this document and, frankly, have access to, if we can, to these alleged recordings.
I know that you're a fan of our founding documents. I know that you know them quite well. I know that you're well aware that high crimes and misdemeanors is something that can really get a president in trouble, and bribery is among those crimes. Is that why the FBI is protecting this document? Why?
I don't know, but you're right. Specifically, that's one of the things when it comes to high crimes to talk about bribery. I mean, certainly that's one of them. I don't know. I do not know why. It always seems like it's pulling teeth to get information that I think is critical for the American people to have access to. And we're going to continue to fight for that. I think Chairman Comer will continue to push to make sure that this stuff gets, again, it's not a classified document. Protect the source. I get that. Protect the source, but let everything else, let the American people, we the people, see what's there.
Yeah, we the people, meaning the constitutional republic that we have. Your Article 1, Joe Biden's Article 2. You have oversight over Joe Biden.
Yeah,
you're the first article in the structure of our government, and your oversight seems to be regularly and consistently insulted by this administration, this DOJ.
Yeah.
How are you going to crack that nut? How are you going to? I mean, how are you going to get them to work for you? It seems like you have to threaten effectively censure, impeachment, holding in contempt, like strong arm them into simply performing via the Constitution.
Benny, in the end, it's about the money. I mean, the money is always the important thing. So you're right. When the founders put this amazing system together, the greatest system ever, they wanted if there was one branch supposed to be a little more equal than the others, it was the legislative branch, and in particular, the House of Representatives, the body closest to the people. I always say we every 2 years, the American people can throw us out. That's a good thing. Keeps you honest, keeps you talking to the folks the citizens of this great country. And they said, we want that body closest. We want them to have the major influence on the money. That's why every tax bill, every spending bill has to originate in the House of Representatives. So when we go through the appropriation process the rest of this calendar year, we're going to have to say no money can be used at the FBI for X. No money can be used for Y. You don't get a new headquarters. You got to use the money to get their attention. And then the other big thing that's happening in this Congress, and I've talked to our judiciary Republicans about this for weeks now. We need to use the appropriation process, and we need to stop FISA. FISA reauthorization, the 702 program is coming up at the end of this calendar year. That needs to fundamentally change. So those are the two big ways that we can influence these agencies being turned on the very people they're supposed to serve and change how those things operate. That's what we're focused on doing.
Would you defund Christopher Wray's private jet?
Yeah, there's lots of things we got to look at. No money can be used for. That's how you write the language in these appropriation bills. No money can be used for. Here's a great one. We have jurisdiction over the Department of Homeland Security as well. We can say no money can be used at the Department of Homeland Security to in any way label American speech, misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. No money can be used to set up a disinformation governance board. Those are the kind of things, like, you've got to stop that garbage. And then the same kind of thing applies at the department. No money can be used at the Department of Justice to retaliate against whistleblowers who come give us information about how government's been turned on the American people. Those are the kind of things we're looking to put in these pieces of legislation.
So, yes, please defund the guy's private jet. If any American should be flying coach on Spirit Airlines, it should be Christopher Wray. As it pertains to whistleblowers, I know there's been a lot of them. Devin Archer was just subpoenaed. Will you get a chance to ask Devin Archer any questions? What questions do you want? What do you want to learn from Hunter Biden's top business partner? That's from Chairman Comer. I think that's a good move. We support that. And during that, when he comes in for his deposition, we would certainly be a part of that. And there's a host of questions you want to ask. And I think, obviously, one of the first questions you ask is what we were just talking about. Who's the big guy? Who is it? Who is it? Who do you think it is? If you don't know, if you can't tell me, who is it? There's lots of questions that I think make sense that the American people would like to know the answer to. When it comes to the high crimes and misdemeanors, and when it comes to the bribery, obviously a lot of people are talking impeachment right now. Where do you stand on that?
Well, I think that's a question for the full conference. You got to have full engagement, full support of the Republican conference and the House of Representatives if you're going to go down that road. So we'll see, but what we do have to do is our constitutional duty. Do the oversight, do the investigation so the country gets the truth, propose legislation to deal with the problems that you uncover, and then look at the appropriations process to change how things operate. That is what we do in a legislative body. And if you find things that hit that definition of high crimes, misdemeanors, that definition of what is warrants impeachment, then you move ahead with that. But you got to go in those steps, and then you make a decision as a full conference if you're going to, because I know this, when I was on the defending end, helping President Trump with the ridiculous impeachment the Democrats did, when you go there, it consumes everything. It just dominates the Congress. And I spent 4 months in a bunker in the basement with Adam Schiff deposing witnesses and everything else. And then you had the public hearings in the Intelligence Committee, and then you had the public hearings in the Judiciary Committee. Then you had the debate on the floor. It consumes Congress. So if we go down that road, we need to go into it eyes wide open with the full Congress, full Republican conference, I should say, in agreement.
I couldn't think of a worse torture. They should use that at Guantanamo Bay, actually, to get information from terrorists. Lock someone in a bunker with Adam Schiff for 4 months. I couldn't think of something worse to actually physically happen.
A lot of depositions.
So coming back to Donald Trump and coming back to these political persecutions, how do you prevent this from happening in the future at the FBI? We've done a lot of research at the FBI and its history. It's been on the wrong side of so many issues. It's been often used as a political police force, as a presidential police force, sometimes for the right, sometimes for the left. I think all sane Americans can say that's wrong. What is the way to take that cancer out of the FBI? Obviously, real law enforcement happens at the FBI, breaking up with sex trafficking and so forth. You want to continue that work, and you want to discontinue the political persecutions.
Right.
How do you fix it?
Well, the first thing you do is change FISA. That's up for reauthorization this year. But I don't know that any new fact we bring out, whether it's new fact we bring out about the Biden situation, new fact we bring out about what they did with the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, with the Mueller investigation, I don't know that any new fact's going to change the mainstream press or change the radical left. So we still need to do that, still need to get the information to the American people, do what I talked about with appropriations legislation and dealing with FISA. But in the end, it's about having a different attorney general. In the end, it's about having a different commander in chief. And that only happens on November 5th, 2024, when the American people decide who we want to be president of the United States. In the end, that's how you do it, ultimately, because the people in charge really do make the policy and the direction of an agency. They're the ones who influence that. So That's how we ultimately got to do it. And again, is the way the founders set this system up. In the end, the power resides with we the people, and we the people get to go to, on election day, get to go to the polls and decide who we want being the leader of our country.
Final question for you, Congressman. Can you give us a preview of what your committee is going to be doing as you move forward into the summer and into the fall? I know things are going to be heating up. What can we expect? Are there any revelations or any bombshells or anything you're particularly excited about that you can preview for our audience?
We got 3 big hearings coming up this month and next month. Mr. Durham will be testifying next Wednesday. That's a big hearing where we'll be focusing on his report, how he analyzed what they did, all the things they did wrong in Crossfire Hurricane. Then we'll have Mr. Ray in July and Mr. Mayorkas in July for hearings. So those are the big hearings coming up. And then week by week, we continue to do our work on, exposing the weaponization of government. I mean, literally every week we got 3, 4, 5 depositions we're taking. And we've taken the approach, we're like the tortoise, and the tortoise in the hare here. We're just like the tortoise, just plowing ahead. We learn new things every week as we talk to people from big tech, as we talk to people from the government, as we talk to people who've been involved in censorship, who've been involved in retaliation against whistleblowers and targeting the American people. And we just continue to do that work.
What will you ask Mr. Ray? A quick follow-up. What will you ask Mr. Ray when he's sitting before your committee? You'll get the first question, the opening statement.
Well, I have an opening statement. The first question I don't know, but I mean, one of the questions I think I have is Christopher Wray told us, and the committee told me specifically, a few years ago, he said, you can sleep well at night knowing the FISA process has been fixed. And then we have a report that says 278,000 times Americans' data was illegally searched in the database at the FBI relative to this whole FISA thing. That's the 702 program. So one hand, you tell me you can sleep well at night. The other hand, you got a news report, New York Times news report, for goodness sake, saying just the opposite. So I think that'll be a theme as we talk about things with Director Wray.
Congressman, there is no better fighter in Congress, and no one has been. You don't have to say it. I know you're a humble man. I know you're a Christian man. I know humility is what gets you to the winner's podium in collegiate wrestling and fighting. But man, you've been right on these things. You've been right. You've been a man, often alone. Actually, you've been right. Like in the middle of the wilderness, calling out for what's about to happen.
Well,
and
you're kind.
Hot
But
damn, have you've been vindicated, sir.
I appreciate what you do. I mean, you give the truth to your folks every day and to the viewers and listeners across the country. I appreciate what you do because we need people like you who are willing to tell it plain and lay it out in a logical fashion that people can get. Yeah, that makes sense. I get it. So thanks for what you do.
The Benny Brigade is here. The Salty Army is here. And we say Godspeed, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Jim Jordan popping off, saying we got some major things to do. We're going to start going after the purse strings. He's right. Come on. To paraphrase the Joker, did your balls fall off, Republicans? Why don't you cut their funding? You want to hurt that? You want to stop this stuff? Cut their funding. I promise you. You got some daughter who's like acting up. Close the bank account. Cut up the credit card. Let me tell you, there's a pretty simple way to get a child to behave correctly, and it's a consequence. Any parent knows this. Doesn't matter if you have a teenage daughter. Doesn't matter if you have a 2-year-old daughter like I do, and a 1-year-old daughter. My 1-year-old understands a consequence. And so it's time for consequences at the FBI. The consequence of having your funding cut. Jim Jordan just made that excellent point there. Also, Jim Jordan recapping, saying that he's obviously, clearly in agreement that Donald Trump is being charged with Joe Biden's crimes. And that the crimes of Joe Biden are worse than we thought. That it always can get worse. That's what he was preparing us for. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? I asked him about the audio recordings of Joe Biden taking a bribe that we learned about over the last 24 hours, and he said, it can always get worse. Are you prepared? Are you ready for it to get worse? Ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very proud of the fact that we are able to sort of crack these lives off the top and have people everywhere. We've even had members of our staff with Donald Trump last night, and they'll be joining us here in a moment. We have photos from Donald Trump leaving Doral, photos from Donald Trump heading in and out of the court. Donald Trump used a secret entrance to get in and out of the court, a secure entrance. You can understand why. This is Donald Trump leaving his club at Trump Doral. Donald Trump leaving his club at Trump Doral, heading for the courthouse. This is the best photo that's on the wire as of yet. You can see him waving there from the armored vehicle. Sort of hard to get these photos because, well, the glass is very thick on these cars, and obviously they have major tint on the windows so people can't really see. The point is to not actually be able to see inside the car in case somebody has some type of knucklehead thing that they want to shout, say, or do. Speaking of knuckleheads, man, there's a hell of a lot of knuckleheads out at the event today. We've got this crazy loon that was arguing with our friend Forgiato Blow, in case you want to sort of get a taste for what the leftists outside of the court look like today. Check this out.
I have a big problem with me, big boy. You touch my son. Touch my son again. Touch my son. You want it. Touch it again. Touch it again, big boy. You're big. USA. Touch my son again. Touch my son again. Touch my son again. Trigger. 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 Brainwash. Brainwash. You guys are idiots. 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 Brainwash. Brainwash.
I like the guy who went to Spirit Halloween store and dressed up as a convict from like the 1920s. That guy. The guy who clearly has enough time to, on a work day, go stand in a Halloween outfit out front of the courthouse. That guy saying that another person's a lunatic. Got it. Okay, got it. Donald Trump, again, getting a bit of a hero's welcome in Florida. Some of the commentary has been very, very interesting here. The people who have been greeting and supporting Donald Trump out front of the courthouse have been doing interviews. They've warmed our hearts. Listen to this.
Former President Donald Trump waved, gave a thumbs up, and pointed at supporters who came to welcome him at Trump National Doral.
Love you. Keep it going.
Stand tall.
It's there where Mr. Trump will meet with his legal team and spend the night ahead of Tuesday's hearing in federal court.
I just felt like I needed to be here.
We are standing with him for everything.
We love him here in Florida. We love him in Miami.
We follow him anywhere. We know him.
Many supporters carried flags while others dressed the part. And even though not everyone we spoke to said they read through the 44-page indictment or looked at the photo and text evidence contained therein, they all believe his legal trouble is part of a larger plot to bring him down.
It doesn't go nowhere. It doesn't go nowhere. This is another hoax, another liar.
A lot of things they want to bring him down, but he's still standing.
Police stepped in to separate a handful of anti-Trump protesters after a brief shouting match with his supporters. Dominic Santana got his point across in a jail jumpsuit, complete with a ball and chain.
That's the guy! It's the jail jumpsuit guy. Dude, you got to see this clip from CNN. I love this clip from CNN. So CNN went to Donald Trump's speech in Georgia 24 hours ago, this weekend, 48 hours ago. And there were Trump supporters in Georgia that were talking to CNN, and they are, money. They're pure gold. Watch CNN shake in fear and terror that their reporting isn't phasing Donald Trump's most hardened and ardent supporters.
Really don't think too highly of special counsel Jack Smith or this investigation. And if anything, they're actually doubling down on their support for former President Donald Trump. They see this indictment as further...
Whoops. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. The clip got interrupted. Here we go. Back at it.
Really don't think too highly of special counsel Jack Smith or this investigation. And if anything, they're actually doubling down on their support for former President Donald Trump. They see this indictment as further proof of every level of government and the press, is the way that they see it, are going unfairly after Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen, it happened again. Okay, we're going to work on that clip once more. Marco Rubio is a man who is from Florida. He is the senator from Florida, and he supported Donald Trump very ardently in a clip earlier today that was played on Fox, a really impressive clip. Marco Rubio, of course, had a very bitter relationship with Donald Trump when they were running for president. They fought each other in the race for president in 2016. It was a hell of a brawl there. I would argue that Donald Trump fought with Marco Rubio probably more than he fought with anyone. It got more savage with Marco when they were running against each other than almost any other candidate. Yet Marco Rubio today on Fox News making some absolutely impressive points while Donald Trump is traveling down the Miami freeway in his motor.
Do whatever we want. We can undertake a cultural hysteria, a ridiculous cultural hysteria that plays out. We had a lady or a man that now claims to be a lady, going topless at the White House 2 days ago at a Pride celebration thing. I mean, we can do whatever we want. We can be as decadent as we want in our society and our culture. We can break our politics. We can take our institution and weaponize them for political purposes on both sides. You think this ends here? The next Republican president is going to be under tremendous pressure to bring charges and indict Joe Biden, his family, his crackhead son, whoever. The pressure is going to be extraordinary. They're going to turn us into, so we're decadent and we're in decline because we thought we could do anything we wanted with our economy. We could send our jobs and factories overseas, break our politics, break our culture, break our society. We don't need parents. We don't need neighborhood. We don't need family anymore. All these crazy ideas. And now reality's catching up, and it's hurting us badly. And today is, frankly, just a symptom of a much bigger problem, which you talk about here, and that is we no longer live in that world. We need to understand America's being challenged in a way it hasn't been challenged in 30 or 40 years, and we either respond or we are going to live in a world in which the most powerful and stable country in the world is going to be China, a communist dictatorship, not the United States.
Yeah. I mean, those are spitting facts. He talks about the president's crackhead son. He talks about the repulsive debauchery at the White House with Joe Biden, as we have been talking about, where people stripped and went topless at the White House to try and make a point. I mean, it's open and repulsive degeneracy. And remember, these are the people that promised that they would be bringing back decency to the office of the presidency. These guys who, of course, are fully endorsing the contents of Hunter Biden's laptop. People who are not endorsing Hunter Biden's laptop are people who've traveled all the way from California to support Donald Trump today. We have clips as we await Donald Trump's appearance outside of the courthouse. We have some interesting clips from the faithful standing outside.
He fights with drugs, the wall, everything, traffic of people. It was wonderful, his 4 years, you know.
And tell me a little bit about the charges. What do you think about the charges?
I think the only thing that they want to cover is themselves, They had to find something, but there is nothing to find, He's transparent. He does it and in a way that, everybody can see it. There's nothing to hide. And I think everything is just makeup so they can look better, but because they discover all the things that Biden did when he was, just a vice president, and then not only that, Hillary, all these things that they did it. Even the vice president that he got it, he's not supposed to get it. President Trump, yes, he's supposed to get these files. So it's just something. They had to try something to just get him.
For 2024, tell me about 20.
So you have a California Democrat, presumably an immigrant or somebody whose English is not her native tongue, travels all the way to Florida in order to support Donald Trump, and even she sees it more clearly than anyone inside of our corporate press and our corporate media. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a corrupted file with the CNN file that I was trying to play you for us, a second ago. We re-rendered it, re-uploaded it in that time frame, and now we have it. This is CNN, speaking of the corporate press, shaking with fear and shaking and crying salty tears as Trump supporters tell them exactly what they think of the corporate media and what they think about these charges against Donald Trump. Why?
Doesn't matter to me. Not at all.
Outside the state convention, his supporters are unfazed.
I think it's a bunch of bull. Trump ain't done that. Wrong thing Trump done is saved this country.
They're not going to let it stop. They can't stand the fact that he's running for president.
and I am a Donald Trump fan.
It's probably altered, but it's just typical liberal propaganda.
None of the Republican voters CNN spoke with had read the indictment.
No, I wouldn't waste my time on a phony indictment. I don't care about the indictment. You could indict a bologna sandwich.
These loyalists share a deep sense of distrust against perceived opponents of Trump, including the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the press. Supporters routinely brought up President Joe Biden, former Vice President Mike Pence, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. All had sensitive materials in their possession while out of public office. One big difference, Trump and his aide, Wal Nauta, face nearly a half dozen charges related to obstruction and concealment of documents, including for allegedly suggesting to his lawyers to not cooperate with a grand jury subpoena.
In this whole fake indictment, they don't even once mention the Presidential Records Act.
The indictment outlines 2 different occasions Trump allegedly showed classified documents to unauthorized people. And in 2021, Trump admitted on tape to having secret documents that he hadn't declassified, according to the indictment. As president, I could have declassified, but now I can't, Trump said, according to the transcript of the audio obtained by CNN. There's an audio recording of him doing so.
We know that that can be changed. We know that that can be altered.
Within the 49-page indictment, pictures showing boxes of classified documents stacked high in a Mar-a-Lago bathroom, ballroom, office space, and elsewhere.
What he did is incorrect, absolutely incorrect. But the system allowed it to happen. The system is broken, needs to be fixed.
The convention also drew a handful of anti-Trump protesters, co-opting one of his most popular catchphrases in this quick moment of tension.
Lock you up. Yeah, you had. You support Hillary Clinton. She done a lot wrong. You're an idiot.
Ultimately, these Trump supporters could not point to any piece of evidence that would cause their support to waver.
I think Trump is the best president we've ever had, and I'm all about getting him reelected.
And in a press conference this past week, Special Counsel Jack Smith encouraged people to actually read the indictment. It's 49 pages long to get a full grasp of the body of evidence there. These Trump supporters I spoke with made it clear they have zero interest in doing that. Meanwhile, Trump...
I lock you up. I love that guy. That's like, oh man, can you adopt me as my grandfather, sir, please? Can you dress as Santa Claus every single Christmas? We can have MAGA Claus roll through the Johnson household. That guy rules. I love that guy. I don't care. You can indict a bologna sandwich. He's right. He's right. Now, does Donald Trump seem scared about all this? Does Donald Trump seem worried? Well, it'd be important to talk to somebody who was literally with Donald Trump last night. The night before this dangerous, scary indictment. And what was Donald Trump's mood like? How was Donald Trump behaving? How was he acting last night? To join us to give illumination on that point, our very own Danny DeUrbina, producer of this show. Danny, you've been on the show before. I think the audience knows you and loves you, but you happen to be sitting right next to Donald Trump eating dinner last night. Tell me the story.
That's right. So I was there for my birthday, just kind of cutting through my stick. I look up to my right, and there's Donald Trump, Diet Coke in hand. He's meeting with a few aides at the table. And, yeah, I mean, listen, it tells you a lot about the mood of the man. He's really sort of embracing that happy warrior mentality. He's like, man in the arena, but he's not acting defeated at all. Alina Habba said he's defiant. Which I would characterize that as a tone last night. Actually, probably midway through my dinner, there was a large table that came in. It was like probably 7 people, all wearing like these bright red MAGA hats. He just turns around and he just screams. He goes, "I like those caps. I like those caps." And then apologies for that awful impersonation.
So good. It was good. No, it was good.
At least we had a good one on the show earlier, so it balances out. But yeah, he was super happy after he finished his sort of pre-dinner. He went around the whole restaurant, took pictures with everyone, and that's when he went into the private dining room with this massive table, about like maybe 15 chairs, and that's when he met with his legal team, legal advisors, and getting ready for today. So last night was kind of like the precursor to what we're seeing pulled out on that live shot.
So Danny's been working on our show for 3 years. Danny is turned 21 years old now, was having his birthday dinner right next to Donald Trump. Did Donald Trump seem like scared or bothered at all to you? I mean, you got to be pretty loose to walk around your restaurant and shake hands with people and make jokes, cracking jokes.
Yeah, there's actually a clip that I was able to get last night. He sort of passed by the bar when he was walking into that private dining room, and he started joking with the people at the bar. He's like, "Don't drink too much," and he was laughing, taking pictures. He was very gracious with his time, I would say, and very much not worried about. At least he didn't seem worried about what is happening today.
Let's play that clip.
Déjame, tómame.
Don't eat too much. Don't drink too much.
Don't eat too much. Don't drink too much. This is great.
Yeah.
So you were taking that Donald Trump like looking loose, looking spry.
Yeah. There's actually a funny clip of him where he sort of walked in the restaurant and just sort of brushed past the CNN reporter in his like swaggerly walk. And then she did a hit later on CNN, and she was like basically in tears that like Trump ignored her, and he was like laughing and taking pictures with people. So she didn't like that he wasn't like depressed and very much worried about the indictment. So
now, I think
that tells you a lot.
What did the president tell you last night? You must have had a private conversation with him.
Yeah, I mean it was brief because he was running into that meeting, obviously very important, high stakes meeting. But yeah, he was took pictures with everyone, really gracious. And, I told him like, keep going, keep fighting. And he said, yeah, well, that's what we're going to do.
I think we have a photo actually of Donald Trump now walking into the courthouse here in Miami. The first photo that I have seen or that we have seen of Donald Trump stepping into the courthouse. Danny, did you ever think you'd see America come to this point, that you'd see images like this of the leading candidate for president for the Republican Party being arrested or arraigned in your hometown? You're from Miami, right?
Yeah, it's sad. Born and raised in Miami, city with a very large Cuban population. They've seen what a weaponized government looks like.
Yes.
And what we're seeing today is just that. I mean, it's so sad to see our country go down this path. I think I said it last time Trump was indicted, is that, we're not necessarily promised justice in this world. And if it's not biblical justice, it's not the end. And so we know how this battle ends. We've already won it. And so I think we've just got to never lose hope about where our country's heading. But I mean, it is sad to see. I mean, it shouldn't be happening.
Danny just turned 21. Isn't it inspirational to hear somebody so young actually be so correct in mind and spirit and in heart and patriotic? I just spoke at the Turning Point event in Dallas for the Young Women Leadership Summit, and it'll fill your heart. It'll lift your spirit to see young people actually in line and patriotic in this country and wishing to fight for their nation. Sometimes people think that the youth are lost entirely to the left and the communism. Is that true?
I don't think so. So I'm a college student, so I'm on a college campus. I get to sort of interact with people all day, and it's not all lost. We actually have a Turning Point chapter there, and there's a lot of energy going into it. Especially like sort of everything's really turned cultural. It's become very relatable to people, and they can sort of see how a lot of these messages are being targeted towards kids. And they're activating, I would say, and we're moving people in our direction.
So do you believe that there is perhaps a point at which people will say, okay, that's too far? Like young kids will say, all right, that enough. Like this is unnatural. This is not normal. We don't want to grow up inside of a communist America. Like, will they see this Trump indictment? Will they see this Trump indictment and will they say no? Because I'm not a young person anymore, right? I just turned 37. So you are officially young. Can the youth of this country be saved?
I think so. I think that's what's happening right now, actually. That's sort of the temperature on the ground right now is, people are, you can clearly see it. I mean, we know Biden had documents stored next to his Corvette or whatever Trump says it can be broken in scissors, his garage. But I mean, you can see the double standard. Hillary's bragging about breaking the law with her, but her emails chat, she's selling it on like Etsy or something. And yeah, the tide is changing. And just about that picture last night that I took with Trump, people were like liberals from my university were telling me, like this is like the night before the biggest day of his life, and he's just like smiling and having a good time. And they were like shocked about it. They just couldn't believe it. But I think part about winning back the youth is that happy warrior mentality. Trump's kind of like that man in the arena. His face is marred with dust, and dirt and sweat, but he's happy, and he's engaging with everyday people. So I think people see that and they see maybe I want to be more like that side, and not the people taking their tops off at the White House and flashing the president. So I think that's how we win. Is just being a happy warrior.
Yeah, the big guy was so excited about that. So we believe that thoroughly on this show, though. You make such a great point. People are attracted to humor. They're attracted to kindness, to memes, to people who are light in spirit, not so heavily and screaming and the walls are closing in. We got him now. Like I don't understand what it is. I don't understand what it is about modern corporate leftism that attracts young people. Again, young people want to fight the system. Dude, you are the system. When you're on the same side as Pfizer and BlackRock, you're the system. There is nothing punk rock about being a Joe Biden supporter. It is the least cool thing you can be.
Exactly. I think that's how we approach it. Humor is something everyone understands. Since you were like a little kid, they would tear a piece of paper and you would laugh. It's something so basic to our existence that I think we have humor on our side. We're the happy warriors. I think that's how we win.
Yeah, that's exactly what Donald Trump looks like there. Ladies and gentlemen, for the big guy, says ALX. ALX has also had a... you guys know ALX, our executive producer here at the show. ALX has also had a recent encounter with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. I think we'd pop him in here, Royce. And do we still have the live stream in front of the courthouse? Why don't we pop on ALX here to get his take on Trump? He's very close with Trump. He had an 8-hour dinner with Donald Trump recently. ALX, hop onto the show. Oh, we robbed ALX of his custom intro.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Twitter update might not have been fitting here. I need the ALX Trump update next.
That's right. That's right.
After my multiple 8-hour dinners. But yeah, recently when I did have that dinner with them, we did talk about the documents probe, and he like asked around the table. He's like, "What are your thoughts on that?" And I mean, I was with DC Drano as well. So we both kind of thought that, Mar-a-Lago, the place that we were both into, and actually on that day, we weren't supposed to go to Mar-a-Lago. That was for my first dinner. But the second time we went, we were going to Iowa. And number one, I didn't think I'd be let in with that outfit. But number two, we didn't have you're supposed to give your name to Secret Service like 24 hours in advance. They're supposed to check it at the gate with your ID and everything. And all of Trump's advisors was like, "Oh, you'll be cool. Just follow us to Mar-a-Lago or whatever." So like me and DC Drainer are at the gate. We're like, "No, they said we could like follow them in." They're like, "Who are you? Like, what's your ID?" So like to that point, like the documents aren't just thrown everywhere like in the pictures and vulnerable to random people that could, go off the street and get them. It's in a locked facility, guarded by Secret Service. Invited guests were even trying to get in and couldn't get into the gate. And then we were talking about how Biden doesn't even know. We just found 2 boxes at the office in Boston. Well, is this the last of the discovery? The White House press secretary, I don't know. Biden, I don't know. So that just shows Trump from the beginning knew that there were documents at Mar-a-Lago, and it was a document dispute with NARA. He wanted to classify them, and NARA was giving him trouble about it. Biden just didn't know where the documents were, and on his own admission, had no clue if there would be any new discoveries. So that's the difference between the two, and I don't think this case will hold up, to be honest.
I mean, if there's somebody who's been careless or reckless with documents, it's people who would who were never presidents of the United States, right? It's the people who had absolutely no constitutional or legal right to hold or steal documents, which is exactly what Joe Biden did. Joe Biden stole the documents. Hillary Clinton stole those documents. They didn't belong to her. She wasn't the president, and neither was Joe Biden when he had 1,800 documents in 5 different locations. Although I would argue, if somebody should be going to jail here, it potentially should be ALX for fashion crimes, based on what he was wearing here, meeting Donald Trump. Boom roasted. You guys got completely destroyed. Crinkly, ragged shirt that hasn't been washed in a while, and ALX really know how to dress up to meet MAGA royalty. So that's Danny getting roasted for his crinkly, raggedy shirt, and ALX wearing the. I don't think it's the Tucker, because the Tucker shirt's dope, but it's the shorts. It's the shorts and the high knee socks.
It was just being underdressed in general, because and even like so, like Scavino, everyone came up to me and they were like, "You were probably the first person I've seen on the patio, like wearing a t-shirt and shorts. Not only the only person at the patio, but at the president's table having dinner with him. And everyone else is around in their like suits and everything, and I'm just sitting there in shorts." And yeah, I mean, I already told the story, but like also the other thing is the Tucker thing had just happened. So that was actually a good like conversation starter with Trump. He's like, "Oh, so you like Tucker? What do you think of the whole situation there?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, he got screwed. He got screwed." So, I mean, it got on the conversation of Tucker, so that was a benefit to the wearing the shirt.
And I think this says a lot about this. I think this says a lot about the person, Donald Trump, that both of the two of you, within the last calendar month, have gotten private conversations with him at dinner, your young producers for a digital media company, and Donald Trump is taking the time to like appreciate your work, stop and talk to you. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, for sure. And the second time, so I don't know if I told this story on your show or not, but I was sitting, so initially when we got to Mar-a-Lago, he wasn't with us. We were just like in the side room, eating like hors d'oeuvres and drinks and like chicken wings and stuff. And then he was in a back table. And so he just like shouted out at the top of his lungs at the in the entire dining room. And he's like, "ALX, I hear you're the most powerful man on the internet these days." And like everyone was like looking at us back and forth. It was like the most, not intimidating, but like I was so like flattered that he's just like shouted it out, "ALX," and he was like with Scavino and all of his advisors. So that really made my day there. And yeah, like you said, it's very telling that he's paying attention and like looking at online influencers such as me and Danny, and actually appreciates all of our work. So it's really good to see.
That's exactly right. I think that speaks to the amount of young people. I mean, a huge amount of young people voted for Donald Trump in both elections. I think he understands the internet better than anyone who's run for political office in my lifetime. That's including Barack Obama, who's supposedly amazing at the internet. I think Donald Trump gets it better than most.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think one of the most important parts of the conversation I had with him is trying to convince him to get back on Twitter as well, so we can not only connect with his hardcore base on Truth Social, but also people that might be independents or, you know, younger people that are being exposed to all these TikTok influencers like Harry Sisson and all of those people that might not be on Truth Social. So getting back on a platform like Twitter, where it's more of the central, where like the battle for the news is fought online, and maybe not his hardcore supporters are limited to Truth Social. So I tried to get him back on Twitter. Hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later, and he can really own this narrative.
Can you unpack that? How did that conversation go coming back to Twitter?
Yeah, so this actually came up in the first conversation I had in February about, you know, Truth Social and if like we liked it, how our engagement is. And I said it was good, but the second time around, it came a couple of days after the CNN town hall. And what I told him, and I showed him my phone, that I got 5 million plus views on his video, like a video of the Ukraine answer he gave. And like I told him, Elon Musk liked the tweet. It got over like 15,000 retweets or something like that. And what I was telling him is that everybody that is on Truth Social generally agrees with you. If you're going to win a general election and you're trying to expand your base, you have to get on Twitter, where people who might think that you're owned by Russia hear an answer like, I want everyone in Ukraine or Russia to stop dying. I want to end death in Ukraine. Nobody with a mind and common sense can disagree with that answer on the Ukraine war. So if that gets exposure and more positions, common sense positions that he has, gets that exposure on Twitter rather than just Truth Social, that could help gain some ground. And he seemed very intrigued by that and said to keep in touch with him and his advisors on that. And he seemed very intrigued by that point. So that's one of the main things that I really touched on there.
That's actually a really, really important point. And we should work on, this is why we broadcast across as many platforms as we actually can. We try and put the show on as many platforms as we actually can. We've had record viewership on this show. We thank all of you. The comment section is right here. People are asking if this is a live shot. It is a live shot. Danny DeUrbina has been covering the crowd effectively today. Danny, what's been happening inside of the crowd? There's been some very entertaining clips that have popped up. Has there been any rapscallions, any ne'er-do-wells, any people who've been trying to cause trouble?
As far as I've seen that guy with the sort of striped jumpsuit and the ball and chain, and he's pretty much solo as far as I've seen. Not much, counter protesters going on, which I think is good. We are the peaceful side, and so it's good to see that happening. And then the other really cool things that we've been seeing is, for example, there was this lady from California, a Democrat from California, who flew all the way to Florida to support President Trump today outside of the courthouse. And she said that this indictment red pilled her, and she's now going to support Trump in 2024. I doubt that's an isolated incident. I doubt she's the only one. And so it'd be really interesting to see how this impacts President Trump's success in 2024.
As somebody who's lived in Miami your entire life, there's a huge Cuban population in Miami. There's an entire little Havana in Miami that is, very populated. And I think the highest population of Cubans in all of America live in Miami. I think quite naturally, most of those people hate communism. They fled dictatorship. They didn't want to come to America. They had to come to America based on the Castro dictatorship and the persecution of their political enemies. How is this resonating with them?
Yeah. So I was actually in very sort of deep Miami last week, and they're very much not happy with this indictment because, again, they've seen it before. They know exactly what this is. It's very transparent to them that this is very politically motivated. And what we're seeing now is really a presidential candidate jailing his top political opponent. At least that's his goal, right? They're not just trying to, they want to put him in jail. I think that's the ultimate goal here. And so that is sort of the sense of seriousness that's felt with this indictment. But I mean, they're not happy. I mean, I've heard horror stories of, their relatives getting dragged into government-run prisons because, they dare to think differently, wrong think. And we're seeing that now. I mean, the old regime on Twitter 1.0, there was wrong think, you would get banned. Then it goes from that to a very serious nature where, they're jailing their chief political opponents. And so it's dangerous. It's a dangerous precedent, but I think we'll end up victorious in the end.
Victorious in the end, the update here is that Donald Trump has, as of this very second, pled not guilty to all charges in the classified documents case. And then ALX says he's twerking. So we have a breaking. I mean, this is not coming as a surprise, though, right, ALX?
No, I don't think this was a surprise. He said from the beginning that he's not guilty. He didn't do anything wrong. And like I said at kind of the beginning of the stream, this wasn't a secret. He declassified these documents, and it's been an ongoing dispute with NARA as far as if these documents, he had the right to declassify them or not. And again, this could have been solved by a civil case or whatever, but they're trying to throw him in jail, and that's their point. From all means necessary, whether it be this, Russia, anything else that they've tried to get him in jail over or impeached over. They're not going to stop until they get their way, and that's all this is. So I'm not surprised at all.
Danny, where do they go from here? Donald Trump has pled not guilty to all charges. They are going to ask for this case to be thrown out. Do you know on what grounds?
Yeah, so I think what they're going to move towards is basically argue that it's prosecutorial malpractice. And I think that's very evident, just comparing the fact that they're ignoring Hunter Biden's crimes when he was vice president. So it is different in that regard, where he had no declassification powers and Trump did, of course. And so I think that's where they're going to move from here in terms of the legal side, at least.
Okay. Moving from here, we have now official videos of Donald Trump. This would be Donald Trump. It would have to be Donald Trump leaving on his way to the court. This is the first video we've seen of this, of Donald Trump in person at his club, walking with his son and a guy named Mikhail, a guy who's the maitre d' at his club. He's walking out to his car. Donald Trump turns to the cameras and says something. I believe we have the clip ready to play. Let's go.
Thank you.
That is Donald Trump on his way to the courthouse. So that was Donald Trump leaving. That's from the Miami Herald. That's Donald Trump leaving his golf club at Trump Doral, where Danny was with him last night. And he was heading to the courthouse there. I couldn't actually catch what Donald Trump turned to the camera and said. I think he said thank you, but I couldn't actually catch that.
Yeah.
Those are the first. Those are the first ones. We have some. We have some super chats here. And Royce is sorting through them, and he's going to be popping some questions on screen as we await. Again, we are live. What you are seeing here is a live shot. So if anything happens, if Donald Trump comes out and raises his fist like he did in New York, if Donald Trump comes out and talks to the cameras, as some people said he may in New York. The reason why we can't have any shots from inside of the court is, once again, the judge has banned them. No cameras inside of the courthouse. No handcuffs. No mugshot. No surrendering of any objects or items. No fingerprinting for Donald Trump. That's what the judge has said. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the best we have are these drone shots or helicopter shots outside of the courthouse. I think they're quite interesting. We'll leave them up and see if Donald Trump does anything. Again, in Manhattan, he appeared outside the courthouse, did the triumphant fist pump, and so forth. All right, first super chat. Let's go. The left reminds me of the Empire. Too estupido to realize they are the baddies. With a Pepe the Frog drinking hot chocolate. Clown in the White House. Danny, can you fact check that?
Actually, I just checked with our very trusted fact checkers. It's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately.
Taxpayers won't stand for this. Fact check. True. No more money for Ukraine.
I think we just gave more money to Ukraine today, actually.
I think we did. ALX has been the world's master at getting some really good clips of Donald Trump talking about this. What did Donald Trump say about about funding for Ukraine? ALX in that super viral clip from the CNN town hall. Can you can you recall that for us and put a bow on it?
Yep. So he said that we shouldn't be shipping all of our money to overseas wars and to endless wars. That's always been his position. But then to this specific point, he said that all of the other European countries have the money to help, save their own country and to save the country that they're being surrounded around. And then also the key point in the clip was the fact that rather than the point be support Ukraine at all costs and help them win the war, which was the actual question, was, do you want Ukraine to win the war? Is his goal should be to end the war as fast as possible and to stop people from dying on both sides, Russia and Ukraine. So instead of funneling all of these millions and millions of dollars and then taking the position like Lindsey Graham, which was, we will back Ukraine until the very end, until they win, like at any cost, and say, this is the best investment we've ever made. He wants it to stop as fast as possible.
I am reminded of possibly the greatest answer since you'd be in jail Donald Trump's ever given, which was his answer to Tucker Carlson when Tucker Carlson asked about the policy to Ukraine. And Donald Trump says, what did he say? He said, we don't need regime change in Ukraine. We need regime change here in the United States of America.
Yeah. I remember. I remember that.
It's really good. It's really good. All right. I believe that we have the actual clip of Donald Trump saying that. It's worthwhile to play this because it is such an important issue to our nation. It's something that could potentially lead to World War III and is absolutely leading to further inflation and the total and complete deterioration of what people think of America internationally. We're entering a scary, scary multipolar world here, and it's happening real fast, and it's terrifying. Watch.
What do you? Can I just follow up on that? You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing. Mr. President, can I just follow up on that because that's a really important statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win.
You know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170, and they should be. And they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO.
But I'm
when I
asking
sat
you
down,
about
I got
Ukraine
them
right
to
now,
put up
Mr.
hundreds
President.
of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I
let's
want
talk about
Europe.
what's happening in Ukraine,
excuse me.
Mr.
I want
President.
Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's
Americans love that. That's the America First policy that Americans love, and also, my God, like how degrading, how embarrassing. We just had Jim Jordan on for 20 minutes. I don't think I once interrupted him in the middle of a sentence. Every time I see these videos of Caitlin Collins here, it's like nails on a chalkboard, man.
Yeah, and then the thing is, you've got to really laugh at like how the crowd really reacted to Trump's answers, and it just reminded me of 2015 and 2016 during the debates where like he would give like a mic drop answer and the crowd would be cheering, and then the moderators would say, "Settle down, no applause, no applause." So it's like he'd give like a mic drop answer and she's just like stuttering to find her words, interrupting him, Mr. President, Mr. President. And just like, he's like, "Oh, you're nasty. You're nasty."
Mr. President.
That was the other moment from that. Yeah,
Mr.
exactly.
President. I actually worked with Caitlin Collins at the Daily Caller back when she was LARPing as a conservative, going on Fox.
I'm so sorry for you.
Yeah, George Soros is a foreign-born billionaire trying to change the population of America. That's her quotes, and now she's CNN's top talent. Ladies and gentlemen, an update. This is the secure entryway that Donald Trump went into the building. The presumption here is that Donald Trump will be leaving soon out of this secure entryway. Obviously the men with the sunglasses and the guns are staring down that corridor, getting in position, guarding it, along with the cameras who have probably been told that Donald Trump will be leaving the building soon. So I want to preface for you, that's the secure entrance that Donald Trump headed into. That's why we couldn't see him get in or out of the car. If something were to happen, or if Donald Trump were to wave, or if the car were to stop, or if he were to stop and come and say something, this would be the shot right here. So that's what we are waiting on, and this is the live shot as we stand out front of the courthouse in Miami. So we have another super chat here. This one for $100, and we just want to say thank you to Prophet Bart. I think I'm saying that right. Prophet Bart. Meme Warriors Unite! Jesus. We need to fly under the banner of Jesus. Jesus saves. He also forgives. The FUD. First faith-based crypto community killed Jesus on the cross. This time he will come back and judge. All glory be to God. Bless our salty army. Yeah. I think this is great. God bless the meme army. I mean, true. I think I pray that every night before I put my slippers on and go to bed. We have one more super chat here for $99.99. Great to see Representative Jim Jordan. Says extra cheese. Yes. Eat them while you can. ALX, you are a food connoisseur. Have you ever eaten a burger that looks like that?
Yeah, from Five Guys. I actually just had one for lunch.
Is that a Five Guys burger?
I can't tell, but it looks very similar. The quality of cheese there.
It does look delicious. If this is your burner account, ALX, you can tell us.
You
do a lot.
Maybe Chris Christie's burner account, but I don't know.
I don't know anyone by that name. I know Krispy Kreme. That is the only person that I know. Let's do again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the entryway for the courthouse. Donald Trump did enter through this secure tunnel, which is why we don't have any shots of him getting into or out of the courthouse. No cameras allowed in the courthouse. No videos allowed in the courthouse. This is a change from New York. No arrest was made. No handcuffs. No fingerprinting. No mugshot. No surrendering of any items at all. So truly a formality. When Donald Trump departs, this is the shot you will see Donald Trump departing from. So that is why it is on your screen. Can we do one or two more super chats here, Royce? Love everyone. Thank you to everyone for this record-breaking broadcast, for record-breaking viewership. We wanted to show you Trump's arrival, and we did that, and we wanted to show you Trump's departure as well, as the world watches on. Donald Trump, who has pled not guilty to all charges. That is our most recent update from inside the court, and we wait. Bated breath. What's next? What's next, Royce? Nothing? I see that Dan Bongino is protecting the Obamas. There we go. What's okay? That one. Okay. We already did that? All right. Well, there are more of them. Are they inappropriate? Ladies and gentlemen, we can't put your comment on screen if they include naughty words. We do try and have a family show here. We want to put up all super chats and just say thank you to our audience, even if it's just you guys thanking us. Like the one guy, like the hamburger guy just said, thank you, Jim Jordan. So, hey, we'll toss it up. What else? Yes, there is a clown in the White House.
Clown in the White House.
Says Stan Clare.
Also on the White House lawn.
Yes, my God. My goodness.
A few of those.
Yeah. Yep. The big guy. Very happy. Very happy. Oh, no, Joe. Oh, please, no, Joe. Trump rally in Bedminster, New Jersey today, says Sean Kuhn. Sean, you look like a cool guy. Cool guy. I like your avatar shot. That's also the same. Put Sean back up. This is also the outfit that ALX will wear the next time he meets Trump.
Yes, it will be. I like those sunglasses.
All right. All right. American Communist Party. Okay. Well, true. Fact check, true. Yo! Thank you, Sovereign Knight. What is that? Is that a Dodge Charger? What kind of car is that? It's a Dodge.
It's like a DeLorean.
Challenger.
Challenger.
Looks like a Dodge Challenger, yeah.
Nice. Those aren't electric yet, are they?
Nope, but 2023 is the last before they go all electric.
Boo.
Yep.
Boo.
Question: do you think Joe Biden's documents are stored next to an electric Corvette or not electric Corvette?
That is not an electric Corvette. Corvette's from like 1960.
Indict him.
Indict. FJB and DC sewer. Fact check true. Marie Moore. Yes, DC sewer. Danny, you live in DC. Would you classify it as a sewer?
100%. Yep. It's like the creatures too that just crawl around that city on all fours. Of course, I'm referring to DC residents. It's a sewer. It is 100% a sewer. You see some stuff.
Vivek Ramaswamy was out in front of the courthouse today. He was to his great credit, the only person who showed up in the Republican field outside of the courthouse today to support Donald Trump. Now, he made some comments that we thought were very, very interesting, and he broke some news as well. ALX, can you fill us in? What did Vivek do today outside of the court?
So there was a FOIA request that he made to get all of the information on all of the charges against Donald Trump, and he's been really leading the charge of vowing to pardon him if he got into office, and leading the charge on speaking out against the weaponized Justice Department. And his main point is that it might help him personally in the field because he's technically a competitor, but he wants to do that on his own merits. He doesn't want Joe Biden to weaponize the Department of Justice against one of his opponents to help him get the nomination. So I'm really surprised that more candidates didn't make an appearance outside the courthouse. I would think that would be a no-brainer considering Donald Trump is the most popular candidate. And he's maintaining and actually going up in the polls from what's going on right now.
Yes.
So I would think that more candidates would want to surround themselves with the base and, speaking out on the right side of history, as the left says, because anyone who's cheering on the Department of Justice being weaponized against a political opponent, they don't know the repercussions of what's going to happen. So I applaud Vivek Ramaswamy for actually coming out and being the sole candidate to speak out, I guess, against all of this.
This is what it looked like, Vivek out front of the courthouse today. I am playing this even though it hurts my soul because Vivek swagger jacked me. Vivek's taken my look, my black T-shirt look, but that's okay. Vivek, take it away.
So the bottom line is there are two things that matter. One is, how are we going to hold the Biden Department of Justice accountable? The first answer is that yesterday I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request, a demand to the Biden Department of Justice, demanding what did Biden tell Jack Smith, what did Biden tell Merrick Garland, what did Merrick Garland tell Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. They are required within 20 business days to give us an answer about any direct or indirect communications. And the first announcement I want to make today is that if they do not comply with the law in the next 20 business days, then we will sue them in federal courts at our campaign's expense to get to the bottom of those answers. The news media should be doing this. It is a shame that a competitor to Donald Trump in this election has to do the job of the political news media. Your job, if you have one, is to hold the U.S. government accountable for their lies. You do not take what they say at face value for the last 8 years when it was President Trump. Do not take their lies at face value now. But it is a shame that it takes a leader outside of the media to stand up. That is what we're doing. They now have this Freedom of Information Act request, and if they don't comply within 20 days and they don't follow the law, we will see to it in federal court that they do.
Boom shakalaka. Can you see why Vivek Ramaswamy is polling better than Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, and Mike Pence right now? Vivek is up at 4% and 5%, depending on the poll. He's doing better than Nikki Haley. Career swamp rats, as Danny just illuminated.
I think he's putting himself at the
want a
front of these
backbone.
conversations. Go for it, Danny.
Yeah, people want the backbone. I mean, they see what the issues that are at stake here. I mean, we're jailing our political opponents. They don't want to see sort of this polite nonsense that's been going on in D.C. for decades. When they promise you something, then they never deliver, and nothing gets done. It's basically that D.C. uniparty. They want to see people who have a backbone, who are going to stand by principles. As Vivek said, principles over politics was a tweet he put out. And that's exactly what he did today. He got up and he pretty much stood up for his political opponent for that GOP nomination. So I applaud him, and we should definitely have more candidates like Vivek.
I want to highlight this super chat on screen because Denise Albritton says these charges need to be against Biden, not Trump. This and sorry, ALX. Every time we put these up, we've essentially replaced your face with the avatar of the user. But
it's a trans gesture.
It's a
yeah, I'm a trans gesture.
So Denise says these charges need to be against Biden and not Trump, and this seems to be something that is this seems to be a very, very constant and pervasive point that people are making, which is that it's Joe Biden who mishandled classified documents. It's Donald Trump who was impeached for Joe Biden's crimes. Do you agree with that contention, Alex?
Oh yeah, 100%. And like Chuck Grassley pointed out, they were so quick to use these audio recordings against Donald Trump in this case. Meanwhile, they have a criminal complaint that the FBI has not only been hiding from public eye since 2016, I think it is, but when they've gotten ordered by the oversight committee to turn over the document, they're not only stonewalling for a month, but hiding when they finally do give it up. They're hiding the fact that there could be 17 audio recordings proving this crime. So not only should Joe Biden be charged, but I think the FBI and the people who are making these calls, Director Wray, need to be asked under oath why they're intentionally hiding evidence of potential crimes by Joe Biden and why it wasn't acted upon. So not only Joe Biden, but his Department of Justice as well.
Hell yeah. ALX, by the way, you're getting some love. CJ Hoffman's going to cover your face, but CJ Hoffman's going to cover you, and I love you, ALX. Joe is a traitor. Joe is a traitor. Danny, check this one out. All roads lead to Obama, Biden, Clinton. What do you think?
I think it adds up. I mean, so it's that DC uniparty. It might change administrations, might change parties, the people who control DC, but the power remains the same, really. It's the same group of people who are going to protect themselves, protect the bureaucracy at all costs. And so we know there's provable crimes that Biden has committed. There's provable crimes that Hillary has committed. And apparently, thanks to this new whistleblower, we know Obama knew all about it and actively tried to cover it up. And so, yeah, I think all roads do lead to those three people. And like at a bigger point, it's really that uniparty that needs to be taken down.
I am putting this up just because I want to see ALX replaced with a cartoon donkey. And that's it. Thank you, 949 Designs. Thank you for the $9.99. $9.99. Feeling fine. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Here we go. We got MJ Honold. MJ Honold saying Biden for prison. Pray for Donald Trump. $100 super chat. Just got to say thank you for that. Biden for prison. So we talked with Jim Jordan about impeachment for Joe Biden. He obviously said, hold your horses. Okay, it's easy to scream impeachment. Here's what that would mean. It would effectively mean we're not going to be doing any other business in the House other than the impeachment, right? And also it can backfire. I'm not saying you shouldn't impeach Biden. I'm saying that, rational people should stop and say, all right, what's next? And how do you game theory this out? How would you game theory this out, ALX?
So I think, especially when we're in the minority and we couldn't remove the actual president, I think what's most important is getting all of the evidence to the public eye, because like I said previously, with the FBI covering all of this up, the American people wouldn't know all of this if it weren't for James Comer and everyone, and Chuck Grassley, who's seen the unredacted version of the document. So getting the evidence that is being withheld to the public eye would be the purpose of an impeachment, I believe, because without the truth being out there, we're only going to allow the FBI and Joe Biden and everyone else to continue to, who knows, be blackmailed by Ukraine.
Yes.
But like, again, the issue with not only us not having control of both chambers, but not having control of the presidency is the fact that even if there was evidence of crimes, do you think Merrick Garland is going to charge the president or the president's son? Merrick Garland's boss is Joe Biden. So bringing charges against your boss, would not go so well. And that's kind of the point of a special counsel to have, an independent prosecutor for that. But the special counsel that's been appointed has been kind of silent on that front. So I don't think there will be any charges, at least while we're in the minority, or at least while we don't have the White House. But say we do get a Republican president and Donald Trump comes in, he did vow that there would be special counsels into the Biden crime family. So as much evidence as is put in the public eye now, that can be used in future investigations possibly. So I think that would be the purpose of that.
So that's interesting that you bring up that point. ALX Patriot 7076 says Trump is using himself as bait to set a precedent. Year of the boomerang, y'all. David Jones saying, does anyone know if Jack Smith is in court today with President Trump? Danny, do you know?
What was that question?
Does anybody know if Jack Smith is in court today with President Trump?
I don't believe so. But what I would say about the indictment is that, sort of in 20s, and when President Trump's first presidential administration, he was very much wanting peace, and he promised he would put Hillary Clinton in jail, but we know he didn't because he wanted to sort of establish peace. I think what's different about this time around is his big theme is retribution. He's repeated that in his rallies numerous times, and then last night during a hit on TV, or on radio actually, he said that they've opened the Pandora's box, and he vowed to appoint a special counsel to investigate Joe Biden and the crimes we know he's committed. So I think it's going to be sort of a shift we'll see in his second presidential administration if it does happen.
So Damien French, who I'm not sure if this is Damien in the avatar, but if that is you, Damien, you look super based, man. Thank you for your service, and I doubt that you served to see your constitutional republic so openly and egregiously assaulted by the weaponization of the political law enforcement agency Gestapo for the president of the United States. That's not why that is not a reason why anyone put on the uniform to go fight dictatorships and go fight for democracy abroad. I mean, by doing this, you've really insulted everyone in uniform. You've insulted everybody who's ever served this country, who's ever fought or died for this nation, because the reason they fought and died was to go off and fight fascistic rulers or leaders around the world. If you're talking about World War I or World War II, to fight for American right and sovereignty here at home. If you're talking about the Civil War or the Revolutionary War, to go fight communist tactics like this abroad in Korea or Vietnam, or to go fight open dictatorships run by scumbags who enrich themselves and their cokehead kids like Saddam Hussein. That's why people fight.
Amen.
And now the cokehead kid, now the dictator who enriches and allows his cokehead kid to run people over in the street, which was what Uday and Qusay Hussein did, now those people are in charge, and they're putting their political enemies in jail. ALX.
Yeah, amen. You said it better than I could. And I honestly do think that the people that are cheering this on, they're not going to be cheering it on for very long if it keeps going in this direction. Because like Danny said, Donald Trump has already said that he's going to appoint a special counsel to look into Biden's crimes. So they're cheering all of all of this on right now, but when Biden's the one sitting in court, I don't think they're going to be too happy. And it's Democrats that opened Pandora's box. I mean, Trump could have had Hillary as a special counsel and probably in jail by now if he wanted, but he thought it was for the benefit of the country to not do that, and thought, I guess, we were above that. But so, yeah, I do think that they're going to be wishing that this wasn't happening right now in a couple of years.
I agree. Turnabout is fair play. Harry Reid nuked the judicial filibuster, and then what do you get? Ruth Bader Ginsburg replaced with Amy Coney Barrett. Anna M. said, doing great covering this historic moment. Thank you, Anna. We thank you for your donation to the show. We give this content away free, but we are, of course, funded by you, and so we say thank you. Obviously, there was a great dad joke in here. Maximus Opus says, "Benny, you're the best." I agree. Maximus, I try to be a humble man. I will say I'm not a cat guy. I'm horribly allergic to cats, so I hope that your cover image. You may be a cat. You may be a cat person. I hope your cover image never gets close to me because I will sneeze like crazy. I am a dog lover, but I'm wildly allergic to cats, especially long-hair cats. I am a father. I don't have any. I have animals at home. They are my 2 little children, soon to be 3 little children. And so, Wojo, I appreciate your dad joke here. Wojo says Trump went to Penn State and Biden will go to State Penn. Boom! Got him, Wojo. Mic drop. We have some clips and some breaking news for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. First off, if you want to see another joke, why don't you check in on CBS News, who just took a live shot of Nancy Mace schooling them. Nancy Mace is a regularly based, somewhat unbased. I mean, depends. Nancy Mace has some great moments from South Carolina. She was on CBS News just a second ago, and they cut her feed because she was doing such a great job torching Norah O'Donnell. This is a great clip. Watch.
But again, the FBI had access to those documents, they had access to those boxes, and they had access to all those rooms as well.
Congresswoman, the FBI did not have access to those documents. There was a subpoena for those documents, and then the attorneys for Donald Trump said that they had given all of the documents over, when then that was not true, and then they had to have a raid.
I remember last summer.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
I
apologize about the audio issues.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I apologize. We're having an audio issue, but Congresswoman, I thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, got it. We're having an audio issue. You just beat me in a debate. Yeah. Oh my, here we go. The cops are back, baby. The police are moving.
That is a sign.
Here we go. That is the sign. We have been waiting for this. We've been waiting for this moment for the police to move into position. There's no indication that Donald Trump has left, right?
No, I'm not seeing anything yet. No,
because there's the entrance. There's the entrance, and they have the police cars outside. The doors are still open. This is just his motorcade sort of moving into position. So we are going to see Trump here in just a moment. And Donald Trump will be, they're adjusting the cameras. Donald Trump will be leaving out of this door. Will they let Donald Trump pop out of the car, say something to the press? I don't know, man. The guy's unpredictable. He's done crazier things. That is for certain.
I'd like to see him roll down the window.
That's right. Something that I have really liked to see is J.D. Vance, who J.D. Vance just broke news seconds ago, tweeting, until Merrick Garland stops using his agency to harass Joe Biden's political opponents, I will hold all Department of Justice nominees. I will hold all of them up. So J.D. Vance is fighting fire with fire. He is, of course, the senator from Ohio. J.D. Vance is a spectacular senator and been doing some great work. We do have a video accompaniment with this, and I'd like to play it for you. It does look like they're preparing potentially for Donald Trump, though, to leave the courthouse here, and I don't want to miss it. And guys are sort of like moving out of the way there. The cops are getting in position. The camera's all shaky because all the media are going to come up. come up to like to this point and bump each other. Call that a scrum, a press scrum. There he is.
Here comes some
there
cars. There we go.
There we go. Donald Trump has left the building.
Yes.
This is the Donald Trump motorcade. Can we get audio on this? Okay. Roll the window down. Roll the window down. Come on, baby. Come on. Donald Trump in there. Donald Trump will be riding not in the front seat, but of course in the middle cab. This is for security protocol. There are specific positions that Donald Trump must ride in inside of the vehicle. I've been in motorcades with Trump.
Don't come to my way,
He has a assigned seat. So were he to roll down the window or were he to engage with the audience, it would be there. But we do not even know if that's his SUV, meaning we don't know which one he's in. Crowds are excited. We want Trump. Being cheered. Let's listen in.
We want Trump! We want Trump!
I feel like that might be his.
There he is. Going off. That is definitely Donald Trump there. You can see it, right, Royce? You can see him?
Yep, I think that is, yeah.
So you can see Donald Trump rolling out, leaving the courthouse, pled not guilty. Y'all got to feel me. Cheering. A raucous crowd. Oh, good. Here's a shot of the motorcade moving, people running. Oh, no. Dude's getting arrested or detained.
There's the protester.
They're detaining the criminal. He's dressed as a criminal. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Ah! This is the leftist protester. This guy's a lib.
Solo leftist protester is the only one that got in trouble.
Yes, he's jailed as he's dressed as a jailbird, and now the cops are arresting him.
Doesn't need a change of clothes.
Doesn't need a change of clothes. He's got. Oh my God! Now he's getting trolled. Oh, we gotta clip this. Oh no! Now he's getting trolled by the Trumpers.
They cut away from that real fast.
Oh man, what do we got here? Is the live feed glitching? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not you and it's not us. That is the live feed. Let's pop it back up. There we go. The live feed sort of went black there for a second. Again, they're on a helicopter shot here, so they're going to do their best to sort of cover this and also to keep up with a motorcade that has clearly stopped traffic. Traffic always a nightmare there in Miami. But will be a pretty bad one today. Today was a bad day to drive around Miami. Should have worked from home today. So that was the oh man, that was gold, ALX. We've seen that protester. He dressed as like a convict. He's dressed as a convict from like the 1920s, ball and chain convict. And what I assume is that protester approached Donald Trump's motorcade. Because the guy seems like a lunatic. We've seen him yelling, screaming, ranting, and raving. And that guy went and, like, approached Donald Trump's motorcade and screamed at him and tried to, like... You can assume that he broke through the police barrier coming at Trump.
Oh, yeah, probably what happened. I think it's really funny that everyone was talking about, oh, this could be another January 6th type situation by encouraging people to protest. And there were some people saying not to go there. And the only protester, it seems, that got in trouble and seems to gotten arrested is the one lone left wing counter protester that was there. So I really think that speaks volumes to the two types of people that were there outside of the courthouse.
Did my camera really just go off during that?
Yes.
Yes, it
I
did.
lost signal, and I'm seeing this guy getting like tackled on the ground.
It said 0 batteries. So
Yeah.
So.
The lone leftist protester got tackled to the ground. There's your justice, I guess.
This is a live shot of Donald Trump traveling through the packed streets of Miami. Miami, always a nightmare with traffic, some of the worst traffic in the country. A lot of people wanting to move to Florida. Has always been bad, but today, Danny, it's going to be really bad.
Oh yeah, I'm staying in. We're not going south.
Yeah, do not go out today if you are in Miami. Yeah, welcome to Miami. Donald Trump, though, of course, having no traffic, zipping right along the interstate on a pre-planned path and moving along with that motorcade. Probably a dozen vehicles in that motorcade at least.
Yeah, I believe he's heading straight to the airport now for Bedminster. He has an event there tonight. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So a speech like last time. Okay, great.
Yeah, pre-planned event, so it happened before the indictment, but it kind of worked out.
So Donald Trump will be getting more news about Donald Trump tonight. The man never stops. The man never stops. Royce and I flew on Donald Trump's plane with him, and after giving a speech in the freezing cold in Ohio, right the night before election night, it was very cold in Ohio. It was November in Ohio. Donald Trump hopped on his plane and didn't stop talking for 2.5 straight hours. Played his DJ list. Started telling us all about James Brown. Wanted to put up music videos of James Brown. Donald Trump doing his Donald Trump dances on his plane. Wild, man. The dude doesn't stop. The dude don't stop.
Yeah, I was in Mar-a-Lago that night. He got indicted for Fat Albin, New York. And I can tell you, I mean, his energy levels were high. I think he DJ'd until 2 a.m. with his little iPad. Lots of show tunes, lots of Elvis. And I mean, he also stood up and just greeted everyone in the club. It was packed. And he did that. So the man does not stop. Happy warrior.
There he goes, baby. There he goes. So I believe it's the second SUV vehicle that we saw pull out. That was Donald Trump's. Yep. There it is. And you see, you're going to see an interesting move here potentially, where some of the motorcade breaks off, and Donald Trump will then be heading to the airport. Again, this is not your phone. This is not our feed. This is the feed. This is not our internet. That's just the feed going black because they're switching from helicopter to helicopter, and they're going to lose the shot every once in a while. So that was the feed going black there, and now we have the classic classic OJ chase through Miami. He's going to the airport. He's going to Miami International Airport?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first man in history to get good Miami traffic, Donald Trump. A miracle.
I might run for president now, just for that.
21, Danny. You have 20 years. You have 20 years to wait. You have 20 years to wait. Okay, here we go. Some super chats. Can't say Biden crime family in super chats, says Jordan Hall. Yeah, you can. You're doing it right now. Sweet Prince. And thank you. That's a £2. That is a £2 note for the show. So thank you, Jordan Hall, for presumably watching from the United Kingdom. I'd be very interested. In what people in the UK think of this. I'd be very interested to see what is sort of the vibe from across the pond on this. Vivek for VP, ladies and gentlemen, they say as we watch Donald Trump roll through Miami. Vivek for VP with a salty army avatar. What do you guys think? That'd be an interesting. That would be very interesting.
I think he brings a lot to the debate stage, and it will bring important conversations forward. So I think he's really making a case for VP, especially being at the forefront of all these discussions, it seems. And I think he's positioning himself well to be on his short list. So
I I would give anything to watch Vivek Ramaswamy debate Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah,
anything.
That would be insane. That'd be great.
Mike Pence didn't do a great job debating Kamala Harris. Like, could have
I'm
really
speaking.
like. Yeah, I'm speaking. Excuse me. Speaking. Mike Pence had a fly land on him. Weird.
Yep.
Thank you, Perk 5, I think. Little 5 in there. To the 5th power. Perk to the 5th power.
Unstoppable.
Thank you, Perk. Yes, unstoppable. Oh, this is a very important one. Sovereign Knight. With the back with the Charger or Challenger. Come on, folks, let's get Benny to 1 million subs. We are so close. We're like 20K away to 1 million subs. We're close. We're gonna do some. We have some very special. We have some very special things planned. Very special things planned. This is an important one, Danny. I want to get your take on this from Kilo 1212. Kilo 1212. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you're seeing a live shot of Donald Trump traveling through Miami on his way to the airport to leave. He has left the courthouse. He has pled not guilty. 33 years ago, I came to the U.S. from a communist country. What's going on now? It's something that I ran away from. Danny.
That's the sentiment I've been getting from pretty much everyone I've spoken to in Miami, is they either themselves fled from, say, Cuba, or they have family who actively live in those countries. And they know what that reality is, and they literally fled it. They do not want to import that into this country. And so when they see that being replicated in sort of the highest levels of power, they're right to be afraid, and they're right to call it out. And I think we should probably listen to them because they've experienced what that's like, and we don't want that here. So I've heard some horror stories, and it's not what we want here in America.
Yeah, people are upset about this, man. People are upset. The passion is here in the super chats. You can see the passion in the super chat. That once again, ladies and gentlemen, is the TV network that we are following this live shot with. That is the live shot camera cutting out. We will cut back to it as soon as it is back up. It is black right now as they are switching helicopter shots. The courts, Alex, I want you to respond to this. D.R. Akari, sorry if I'm saying that, pronouncing that incorrectly. The courts are indicting a law-abiding president false crimes in order to let a corrupt Biden run this country, its constitution, into the ground. Stop the circus. Trump is innocent. A lot of passion here, ALX.
Yeah, like I said earlier, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter what the actual so-called crime is or charge against him. Since 2015, when he came down the golden escalator, they've been going after him, whether it be with Russia or with the phone call with Ukraine, whether it be with documents, whether it be with the Stormy Daniels accusation that was unearthed from the 2016 campaign. It doesn't matter what the actual charge against him. They're trying to take him out. It doesn't matter if there's a crime or not. They will weaponize any form of the weaponized Justice Department or weaponized attorney generals in liberal districts, and they will try and take him out with no matter the charge. They'll try and take him out because Joe Biden obviously doesn't want to run against him. He has like a 30% approval rating, and I don't see anyone enthusiastically supporting Joe Biden. So that is their campaign tactic, is to take him out. But yeah, like I said earlier too, getting all of the Biden crimes out in the open is kind of the angle here with trying to impeach him. I know they're not going to be removed, but
guys, hey Alex, I'm not trying to interrupt you. He's going to the bakery. He's going to the famous bakery in Miami. Danny, what's this bakery? Yeah.
Oh man, this
Donald
is like a
Trump.
hotspot.
Hold on. Donald Trump is stopping at a bakery. Donald Trump ain't going to the airport. Well, correction. Donald Trump's going to the bakery, Versailles Bakery.
Oh my gosh.
Danny, fill us in. Versailles Bakery. This thing is a famous bakery in Miami.
Yeah, I've been there many times. This is as authentically Cuban as it gets. It's I think the founder just died, but it's been here for eons. And everyone sort of congregates around there. It's a really fun time. And I think he's going to go talk to a lot of those Cubans we were talking about who know what this is like in their country. And I think he'll be met with a lot of support there.
Wow.
This is amazing.
No, I did not see that happening. I'm like, where's he going? ALX is like chatting about the FBI and the DOJ. I'm like, where's he going? Where's he going? He's going into the Versailles Bakery. Man. It is hard to it can't be overstated that this is the most famous bakery in Florida. This is the most famous bakery arguably in all of Florida. Actually, inarguably. It is the most famous bakery. It is a Cuban historic bakery. Everyone who's campaigning in Florida must go to this bakery. Every Republican, there are photos of every person that's ever hit the state of Florida to campaign, must go here. You get a little, there he is. There he is.
I wonder if this was pre-planned or if he's just like, pull over. I want to go to the bakery.
Pull over. I'm hungry.
Pull over. No McDonald's.
Truly
Let's go to the bakery.
No McDonald's. Yeah, they wouldn't let me. They didn't let me order any McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts.
There he is. He does the wave to people that are standing outside. Wow. And Donald Trump is in the building. Now, we have seen Donald Trump stop at a Waffle House and a McDonald's recently, have we not, Alex?
Oh, yes. We saw him with the Waffle House badge and then also connecting with all of those people.
Whoa. Stop. Audio, now. Anything? No? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
No, maybe they don't have it.
Forgive me, but I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have audio on this.
They might turn it on. It might take a couple seconds. I would, leave it on and see if they pop it on.
These are live shots, right? These are live shots. So we've cranked the audio, and we don't have...
I can hear faint audio, so I think it's coming on.
There we go. Okay. This it's a madman. A madman. Oh, he's getting prayed over. All right, so the spiritual leader's there. Not sure from what congregation, denomination. I see a yarmulke, but he's being prayed over.
Americans, we declare communism will not come to our shores. Father, we thank you that you've anointed him and called him for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Wow, communism will not come to our shores, boys.
Based.
Love that. I actually know one of the guys there.
Do you?
He's the founder of Bienvenido. I think we played his clip once. He like roasted Ana Navarro on her own show.
Dale fortaleza en sus manos, dale firmeza en su cuerpo, dale ese espíritu de poder y dominio propio. En el nombre de ese Señor declaramos libre de toda maldición y toda maldición. Decimos amén, amén, amén.
All right, that was Spanish, right? I mean,
yep, he was basically saying.
Speaking in Spanish.
Yeah.
What's he saying, Dan?
He was basically praying for Trump to sort of have God to give him like the graces to lead a nation, sort of have like the fortitude for it.
Donald Trump meeting what looks like perhaps the owners of the establishment or people who are, who are in the welcome party for the establishment. We're showing Trump around. Trump fighting his way to the counter.
I was going to say, that place is packed.
Fighting his way to the counter, trying to get up to the counter to get an order in. Let the man order. The man's hungry. He just got arrested. Do I look arrested to you?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Food for everyone. Food for everyone.
Absolute legend.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Take care of yourself. Where's Jorge?
Where's Jorge?
Let's get a picture. Come on. This guy.
Is that Masvidal?
No, that's Masvidal.
Yeah.
Where's Jorge?
It's a UFC fighter.
Yep.
A accomplished UFC fighter, famous Cuban, I believe.
Yeah. He just
Miami.
retired, and then during his retirement speech on the ring, he said, "Let's go, Brandon." He got a whole chant going.
Some birthday. We got a government that's out of control.
I don't even know what's going on. Someone's birthday now?
What a great day.
So,
What a great day.
it's Trump's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, Flag Day, yeah.
Donald Trump is greeting and meeting, taking a photo with people who have been welcoming him and showing him around the bakery. Again, we are inside. If you're just joining us, Donald Trump went from...
Really nice, thank you. I think it's going great. I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt. We have a country that's got no borders. We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline, and then they do this stuff. And you see where the people are. We love the people, and you see where they are. You see the crowds and everything else. We have a country that is in decline like never before, and we can't let it happen. I'm going to make a little speech tonight in Bedminster, and I hope you're going to be there. Can you start tomorrow? I hope you're going to be there. You can come too if you want. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
God bless.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you, everybody. Moving.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Just wow.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable. The energy of this man. So now we're in the press corps. We're walking back out. If you're just joining us, you are seeing a live shot here. It's live shot here. So apologize for the shakiness. They're just keeping the camera rolling, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's get some of that Christopher Nolan shot. There you go. Walking out with the press. Donald Trump went from, and the reason I stopped talking is I didn't want to interrupt Donald Trump when he was speaking. He took one or two questions there from the press, and now we're getting into the press van, right? So what you're going to see here now is the camera on the floor of the press van. On these trips, the press are very highly regimented, right? A guy like tells you where to go, and you got to go, otherwise they'll leave you. So that's what you're watching right now. It's very much behind the scenes. If what you just watched is wild. What you just watched is incredible. Donald Trump went from pleading not guilty and probably had 2 hours in court. Am I wrong, boys? There he is.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 hours.
Definitely.
2 hours in court. What would be a very exhausting, trying, stressful, and something that is meant to break him, right? An action that is meant to break Donald Trump and his spirit. Donald Trump had every right to go to his private jet with his motorcade and fly away to his private club. And instead, here's Donald Trump at a local favorite bakery buying people tasty treats and meeting the people, waving, praying.
There's the shot.
Singing happy birthday with people and buying everyone a cookie. And Danny, what would be the delicatessen inside of this store?
They're like famous for their croquetas. It's like this. It's kind of like a dough filled with cheese and like ham. So probably that.
All right, croqueta. What would be what's a good Cuban pastry? There's a Cuban bakery. I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, and they have like guava pastries are also really famous for that. So yeah, probably a few of those.
Okay. So Donald Trump buying guava pastries, croquetas. Rolls Royce is here with the what other Cuban pastry would he be buying?
Flan, maybe. I don't
Royce says flan. I don't think so. There's one thing Donald Trump did not buy, it was flan today. I don't know. Donald Trump could have... what I'm saying here, and the point of this little monologue is, Donald Trump could have flan the F out of there. He could have gotten on his plane, and he had every right to just be, this is exhausting, I can't believe it, these people broke me, get on his plane and leave. Instead, he's out with the people. Like, dude, these aren't a bunch of, like, diplomats. He's out with a bunch of MAGA people at a bakery.
Joe Biden could never.
Joe Biden could never. Joe Biden could never. Joe Biden couldn't even bite into a flan.
I hope Secret Service is on the lookout for Chris Christie. He might be running to the bakery now that he knows there's free food.
Free food.
I don't know.
Crisp
Very
Crispy.
concerning.
Good old Crisp Crispy. Yes, indeed. A man of the people. A man of the people. There he goes. There he goes. Donald Trump hitting the road again. What does this say to you, ALX, when you see stuff like this?
I think it shows that he has a special connection with the people. There's no one who can draw this crowd amid an indictment and, multiple arrests and the entire media and the establishment against him. And there's people lining the streets, up and down the streets. And it looks like, and this was like an impromptu visit. Look at how many people are there across the street.
Wow.
Look at that. Nobody else could do that.
And they're slow rolling too. This is absolutely Donald Trump saying, drive the car slowly. I want to wave.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever seen these motorcades? They zip by at like 85 miles an hour. This is Donald Trump saying, I want to go slow. I want the people to I want to wave at the people.
Yeah. And look at how many people are just lined up on the street. Like more than a Joe Biden rally. Never mind just driving by for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So this is Calle. This is like Little Havana. This is like the largest concentration of Cubans you'll find in Miami. So this is that's Trump country. Like those people are out because we were talking about it. They know what this is about. They know what the end goal is. So they're definitely showing out in full force tonight.
I had we are live. We are watching as Donald Trump departs from the Versailles Bakery in Miami after pleading not guilty to 32 counts of indictment brought by Jack Smith for non-crimes like the Espionage Act and so forth. Crimes you literally cannot charge the president with. Absurdities. True absurdities, ladies and gentlemen. A librarian, effectively just like a librarian's dispute that they're now going to try and put Donald Trump in prison for the rest of his life. Donald Trump, cool as a cucumber. Donald Trump, I think, not really letting anything on. What did Donald Trump say when asked about? What did Donald Trump say in the Q&A inside of the bakery?
Yeah, essentially, you repeated a lot of his campaign points, but I think he put it in a very succinct way here. Kind of puts it it puts all of it into perspective when we see what's happened today. But he was saying we're a nation in decline. Our borders are going, to hell, and we're indicting our political opponents. And so he sort of gave a preview of his larger speech tonight in Bedminster, which will probably cover a lot of what transpired today.
I do want to highlight, speaking of things that transpired today, a comment that I brought up earlier from a man named Damian French. I said, is this you? Is this your avatar? Sometimes people put photos of their children, perhaps, or someone they know as their avatar. You don't know. The internet's a big, wide place. It is. It is me, says Damian French. 2 tours in Iraq. 1 tour in Afghanistan in the infantry. Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan pissed me off. Rightfully so, soldier. Trump 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Damian French, American patriot. Can we get some American flags in the comment section for Damian? Can we get some American flags in the comment section for Damian? I want to make sure that we pile on the American flag. I want every single flag up in that comment section for Damian. You don't need to give a penny. You just punch in that American flag emoji and say thank you. Thank you, Damian French, for your service. God bless you. God bless you, Marine. God bless you. We have a group of people here that are supportive of you and supportive of your service, and we say thank you. And I'm sorry I called you a soldier. I think I should have called you a Marine. But my heart's in the right place. I promise. ALX, please moderate the bots in this chat. ALX, come on.
I will try my best. It is very hard to moderate bots, as Mr. Musk will tell you on Twitter. Especially with we're almost at 1 million followers here on YouTube, and there's 10,000 people watching. So there are going to be some bots, but we will do our best to moderate them.
Danny, you are from Miami, a Miami native. Aesop fan 287 says, "Don't you love how everyone in Miami was peaceful? The media got screwed, blued, and tattooed by MAGA today." It did seem like a peaceful event.
Yeah, except for that one lone anti-MAGA supporter who got tackled to the ground. So overall, I think a pretty successful showing by Trump supporters.
There are great interests in how the rest of the world is perceiving this, especially people who say that America has lost all moral authority, to say that we somehow have a better system or a more noble system as we watch our political opponents get indicted and persecuted. Jordan Hall is a Brit based on the currency that he is super chatting with. So I assume you're a Brit, Jordan. £5. America has gone to pot. And this is a follow-up because I asked, hey, are you from the UK? He says, yes, America's gone to pot. It's becoming a joke. The left is ruining America. It seems like a witch hunt and a two-tiered policing between the left and the right. I'm very glad that Jordan popped in here because it's very interesting to see how we are perceived internationally. And I think that's while it's not something to hang your hat on, I think that is the crisis. Like, power is a projection, and your status is something that you project, and you have to be able to match that up. Like a heavyweight fighter, you have to be able to actually enter the ring, and people have to fear you and to know that you mean business. And when people see this internationally, I think they think that they obviously think that we're a joke. They think that we go and we fight dictatorships all around the world. We fight for dictatorships and democracy. How about the millions of lives that we destroyed, people we slaughtered for the last 20 years of global war on terror for democracy to put our political rivals in prison? Got it. Would we be the country that we should invade? I mean, when does America free itself from our own tyrannies? Is, I think, perhaps a very good question. Also, I think
people look at. I was going to say, people look at America for example, and to your point about when we go and drone strike children and call it ISIS, that's what Joe Biden did recently. That gives an example to countries that actually are nefarious and say, well, America's doing this, so why can't we do it? Yes. They're no better than us. So I think we're setting a dangerous precedent by doing this and acting like a third world dictatorship.
That's right. Danny, I want you to hit on this one final point here with Jordan Hall, and that's because that's him saying that this is between the left and the right, two-tiered policing system. I think that nobody on the right is arguing that, like, when we get into power, we should make up a bunch of charges and put a bunch of Democrats in jail. That's what nobody wants. What people want is fairness. And what they're sick of seeing is that fact that Democrats get away with this like it's their job every Tuesday, and they're throwing the book at Trump.
Right. It goes back to that word we keep hearing lately, which is weaponization. This is a full-on weaponization of America's judicial system. And so we see them targeting, traditional Catholics at Latin Mass, parents at school boards, former presidents of the United States who have committed no crimes. And so I think it goes back to this, is that it's very easy to grind down a population and sort of seize control of them if you can make them abandon all hope. And so we can't lose that hope, because what they're trying, they started off with the parents at school boards, and now they're doing Trump because that's the ultimate sign. That's the ultimate middle finger to America, to say, no, we can do what we want, and we're gonna, sort of rule however we want and trample over your freedoms. And so we can't let them lose that hope. And I think that's why this case is so important, because it sets a precedent as to what kind of nation we want to be. And so that's a nation where the judiciary system is not weaponized, where laws are carried out fairly, and quite frankly, in a very literal term, equitably, not in the way the leftists use it. But yeah, I think it's that we can't lose hope, and that's why we got to fight this case very very actively and proactively to make sure that we don't actually let them hijack our entire nation.
I hope Damian French is seeing the comment section, because we called for flag emojis, and man, the entire comment section lit up with flag emojis from top to bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of lighting up from top to bottom, we have another viewer from the UK, Paul Rubin, 10 pound super chat here, commenting on Americans not losing hope. Here is your uplifting from across the pond. The UK sees through this crap. Although the woke BBC defended the KKK Democrats, we know that 45 is being set up. Americans, don't fret. Don't lose your hearts or faint from fear. God is setting them up for destruction. Pride cometh before destruction, the good book says.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for your comment, Paul Rubin. Thank you for your comment. God bless you. Interesting story here. Wow. From 808 Bound. In 1977, my family fled Afghanistan for the USA. As a token of my gratitude, I spent the last 27 years working as a police officer. My last day was July 28th, presumably of last year. I often wonder how absolutely different my life would have been were it not for the great United States of America and this man who fled Afghanistan. What a fine man. God bless you, sir. God bless you. 27 years as a police officer, coming from the Afghani dictatorship to here. I hope, sir, that you got some time on a presidential motorcade detail. It seems exciting. 808 Bound, Godspeed. And yeah, maybe Trump will watch this and he'll put you on his next motorcade. Come on, man. Based. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not your phone, and it's not our internet. It's just the live feed that goes in and out because they're chasing him with a helicopter now. Chasing him with a helicopter. Let's just grab a couple more of these as we watch Donald Trump get to the airport. Corn Pop has nothing on DJT. Fact check true? ALX?
Yeah, Corn Pop is someone who Joe Biden wanted to assault over too much pomade in his hair. So not only is he's throwing Donald Trump in prison instead of doing that. So I guess he was too intimidated to assault him with a chain or whatever he was going to do with Corn Pop.
Rusty
could
razor
never.
in a bucket. Put it in the bucket with.
That's
the
what
water
happens to bad dudes.
That's what happens to a bad dude. That's right.
Bad dude.
Solar Media Team making that comment. Yeah, that's completely correct. Wow, look at Joe Biden's infrastructure there, just trains sitting and rotting on the tracks.
Oh boy.
Looks like they are at the airport. Is that correct, Danny?
Yep, I hope he has pre-check, but yeah, he is there.
Donald Trump going to his jet, which is at the Miami airport. You can now see the airport itself in the expanse here. Miami Airport is a massive, massive international airport. Donald Trump will be in the private plane section of that airport and will be flying out on the iconic Trump Force One. I'm not your buddy, guy, says, this moment with Trump really warms my heart. A true man of the people. This comment was made at 4:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be when Donald Trump was inside of the bakery. That was a wild moment. That was a wild moment. Danny, you've been to that bakery. You know the delicatessens they serve. You know the people in that neighborhood. What does that mean for the people in that neighborhood when Trump stops in there?
Yeah, I think it tells them that they're heard, and I think what he was probably trying to draw is that parallel between what they've seen in their countries and what's happening in our country today. And I think it puts it into perspective for the people in in Little Havana, Miami, but also sort of to the rest of the country, maybe even the world, as to what kind of path we're going down as a nation. So I think it makes 2024. It gives 2024 a little bit different of a message than years past. It's really about sort of saving what kind of nation we want to be.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you've been following along with our we actually have the arrest. Okay, let's make sure is that clip loaded? Okay, we're not.
I think it's a photo.
Anything. We're not going to cut to anything. No, we have the actual. Ashley got the actual arrest here. Goodness gracious, this lunatic got out in front of Donald Trump's SUV.
He jumped in front of the motorcade.
Goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we watched the arrest live on the show, and so we'll bring you the behind this, effectively the behind the scenes here, but we won't cut away from Donald Trump's motorcade. What you are seeing right now is the live shot of Donald Trump's motorcade as it zips through the airport, the massive international airport in Miami, as Donald Trump is heading to his plane on what is going to be presumably the private airport in Miami. Again, a huge airport there. If you've ever been there, it is an international airport. Flights from all around the planet. Maybe flights from Moldova, says Sony Saint from Moldova. Sony Saint says he fled Moldova in 2004 after so much corruption. What's happening here is insane. Joe Biden is getting away with murder and barely anything is being done. Well, ALX, there are a lot of Joe Biden whistleblowers that are going missing.
Yeah, we just had one on the show earlier this week who hasn't gone missing, and he's been speaking out. So I'm really hoping that the FBI are taking his comments very seriously, because he seems to know exactly what he's talking about, and he worked for the Obama administration, so he is not like a partisan, and he isn't someone who is full of crap. Like he knows what he's talking about, and he's seen it firsthand. So I'm hoping that the whistleblowers that aren't missing or in jail or whatever, or dead, have protection in place, and that they continue to speak out, and that they're safe, because they're really important to finding out the truth about the Biden crime family.
I'm watching the amount of love roll in for Damien. And the amount of flags, and I'm also seeing the amount of requests for ALX to fix the bots. So ALX, you got your job cut out for you. A lot of people talk directly to you, ALX, in the comment section. It's really quite charming. You did say that maybe Joe Biden will face some type of consequence in this life, but James A. Walters disagrees with you. James A. Walters says old man Joe will never see the inside of a courtroom because his defense will be that he has dementia and he's incompetent to stand trial. Do you think that'll fly, Danny? I know you're not a legal expert, but do you think the dementia excuse would work?
I think that would probably work more towards when the crime was committed. But then you have also all his aides saying, no, he's perfectly fine. And then they release these sort of selectively edited physicals that say he's fine. So it would be hard to argue that, honestly, at a legal basis. You have to produce sort of evidence and documents. But it might even work if during sentencing, right, that you might say he's not they might give him community service or something. But in terms of proving his intent in the crime, it might be hard.
It might be hard. So we are once again watching Donald Trump. He has entered the now private jet section. He's on the tarmac in Miami International, and he will be approaching his plane soon. He pops out of the plane. You'll be able to see Trump. He'll probably give us a wave, a thumbs up. I doubt you'll be able to hear anything. I don't think there'll be a press gaggle at the plane necessarily. But if there is, we'll be there. Ladies and gentlemen, we know we'll bring you the shot. And that camera might be jiggling around in the bottom of a car, but you'll get the shot. Trust me. Got this big old wide shot of the airport right now. I don't see Trump Force One yet.
They have a split screen on Fox, and they have Trump Force One up right now, so they're getting close.
Nice. Okay.
It's a massive airport.
Oh man, it's the Fed. The FedEx. Stay away, Don.
FedEx.
Stay away, Trump. Get away from the feds. Here we go. Dad joke. Sorry, guys. We've been live for 3 hours. What do you want from me? Paul Rubin, we have featured one of his comments, but he had a follow-up comment. He says, I'm a black man from the UK, inner cities, and we have the KKK Democrat corruption. But the BBC speaks for the Democrats here in the UK. Stay strong, USA. You know what I like about you, Paul? I like about the fact that you always are given positive reinforcement for us. You're giving positive messages. Stay strong, USA. This is Paul from across the pond in the United Kingdom, giving us a lot of positive, nice messages here in the United States to stay strong. There is our iconic Trump Force One, baby. That's the iconic Trump Force One. Rolls-Royce and I flew on that plane for a couple hours, 2.5 hours, back from Ohio. And that plane is dope! It is a really nice plane. Man! It's a nice plane. ALX was about to fly on the plane. Sadly, got denied. ALX, tell us that story. Was it the saddest day of your life?
It wasn't, because I ended up spending 8 hours with Donald Trump unexpectedly, but we were about to board the plane, and then we got a call saying that it was canceled, and then we got another call from Donald Trump saying, do you guys want to come over? So it was like, Donald Trump was our friend. Hey, do you guys want to come over to my house? So I ended up spending 8 hours with him, so it ended up being, a fun day.
Based. Talk us through what's happening right now. Is that him?
It looks like he's boarding right now. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure that's him.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's Donald Trump.
Wave. There's
so
the
he's
wave.
Halfway up.
Yep.
Look at that. Did the entire staircase without falling. What a miracle. Wow. I'm not used to seeing a president do that. Standing at the top, it looks like he's like waving to the press. So that's the press gaggle right there. Photographers. So Donald Trump giving a defiant wave to the photographers and the press gaggle, which will be traveling. Some of them will be traveling with him on the flight. We'll have coverage tonight. Bedminster. There's a event. Danny was filling us in on it. Danny, is it a fundraiser or a political event?
Yeah, it's more of a fundraiser. So this was planned. I actually got an invite for like 3 months ago, and it just sort of worked out. It's going to be tonight, but yeah.
Wonderful. And this is the expanse of that massive airport. So you can see here sort of the gravity of that shot. Goodness, what kind of lens are they shooting with, Royce? Good damn. To be able to zoom in there, I mean, you could see Trump's blonde hair like walking up the flight. This has been great. This has been great coverage. We've been everywhere with Trump on this trip. When Trump gets on, they don't like waiting around. Trust me, they're gonna take off real fast. So here's what happens when you get on Trump's plane. You get a little card, says your name on it. It's sitting in your seat, has your name on it. Seat. The seats on the plane are limited. You're not taught that. This is not like the kind of jets where everyone's sitting 3 rows across, so 6 people per row, maybe a middle row. Every single seat is like a first-class plush seat on like Emirati Airlines. They're beautiful. The buckles are gold. The fixtures in the bathroom are gold. But there is something that is wild about Trump's plane. The moment you walk on, you get hit in the face with the smell, a very reminiscent smell that you will all know, which is the smell of sweet, sweet, delicious fried French fries from McDonald's, and Big Macs from McDonald's, and crispy chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I was amazed. There was a stack of McDonald's to the ceiling on Trump. Am I wrong, Royce? No. And there's so much McDonald's packed onto that thing. I'm surprised the thing could take off. And so we sat there. Probably, I would say, and it's not like they brought me through the entire plane, right? I didn't get to see the cockpit. I think there's like a little bedroom in there for someone to sleep, so I didn't get to see that either. But there's a seating area, and then there's like a living room, dining area, lounge area with couches on the plane. And we were brought through all of that. So we probably got to see 80% of the plane, right? And there's probably room for maybe 20 people comfortably on the flight. Am I wrong? 20, 25? Yeah, 20, 25. What I want to like paint the picture of here is it's not like a passenger jet, you know. It's like it's like plush, you know, beautiful seating, but it's designed, you know, for a small cadre of people to travel with Donald Trump and travel very nicely, to travel very comfortably. We were very comfortable when we traveled with him. It was great. And when we sat down with Donald Trump to chill, you can see the door closing there. I'm telling you, they move fast. When we sat down with Donald Trump to chill, the first thing he did is smack his hand on the table and goes, "What do you want to eat from McDonald's?" And he has like his own private McDonald's on the plane. He has his own private McDonald's on the plane. So there you go. Boom.
I think he's got like guava pastries today.
Yeah, he's got pastries. So let me get some hamburgers and French fries in the comment section if you like McDonald's, or if you would eat McDonald's with Donald Trump on the plane. I ordered chicken nuggets and I ordered crispy golden French fries. That's what I ordered. Chicken nuggets and French fries. That's what I got when he asked me what I wanted, and they were hot and delicious. There goes the staircase, pulling away from the plane. Donald Trump's going to be up and airborne very soon. I want to bring back Damian French. Damian French says, "No thanks needed to all of the wonderful people who dropped American flags in the comment section for Damian, who served his country, who had multiple tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. As we watched the motorcade pull away from Donald Trump's plane today," he says, "no thanks needed. Give thanks to the people who gave the ultimate sacrifice. They're the true heroes." Spoken indeed, like a man who knows service, like a Marine who knows what it means to actually properly sacrifice. Damian, we have a bunch of people in our audience that love you and appreciate you, and hope to have given you a little bit of a boost and a little bit of a taking of heart today. We thank you, sir. We thank you. And this audience appreciates you. I'm sure Donald Trump appreciates you. Donald Trump, in my lifetime, was the most beloved president by the armed forces. I've seen Donald Trump on military bases. Went there a couple times to Andrews Air Force Base. Donald Trump, ain't nobody loved military families like Donald Trump did. Dude would have never done Afghanistan dirty the way that Joe Biden did, and got those sovereign 13 service members killed. Awful, awful. Ordered those people to their deaths. Awful. Joe Biden has never recovered in the polls since then, and thank goodness. People need to keep their eyes open on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Here we are watching Donald Trump's plane. It is going to take off, and then we're going to take off. But this has been a really fun. This has been a really, really fun show. I gotta show you the arrest moment, because we showed it to you live. We were laughing our asses off, and we didn't get to see why this guy got arrested. Can we play the dude? Can we play him with Forgiato? So I want you to see who this dude was, right? So this dude was a lunatic running around screaming at Trump supporters in front of the courthouse. So this is what the guy was doing before the arrest.
I have a big problem with me, big boy. You touch my son. Touch my son again. Touch my son. You want it. Touch it again. Touch it again. You're big. Touch my son again.
So that guy was a lunatic yelling at our friend Forgiato Blow, who's a MAGA rapper, pretty based, very based. And he was screaming and yelling at him. Well, it turns out that guy got arrested. Who's the lunatic now? Yeah, who's the psychopath now? So I'm going to show you what the guy did to get arrested, because we actually have the footage caught by our another eagle-eyed member of the Benny content team. Her name's Ashley. She goes by Smash Memes on Twitter. Please follow her account. This is the footage of the guy running out in front of Donald Trump's car. Got really close to Donald Trump's motorcade. This is crazy. Check it out.
Armed officers in some of these vehicles. The people rushing towards one of the vehicles. He may have slowed down, given them away. A chaotic scenes. Police really outnumbered here, doing their best. Now they're holding people back. People running after one of the vehicles. Again, not Not the scenes that you would associate with someone who's just had to plead not guilty.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump's plane is sitting on the tarmac waiting to take off. We're not missing anything by playing these videos. They're just going through all of the flight stuff before takeoff. So that guy went and ran and got in front of the car and came really close to Trump's vehicle. Can you play just the first couple seconds of that clip again? Watch the guy. You can see him. He's wearing the striped prison uniform.
Armed officers in some of these vehicles.
So he was standing. Am I seeing this right? He actually prevented the movement of the vehicle for a little bit.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts. And yeah, and you saw that they got right on him right away. I mean,
for a second,
they have to arrest him right after that. Like,
guy's a lunatic.
Yeah,
guy's a lunatic. So here's what we saw when on our live feed, which was hysterical. So that was the man getting absolutely manhandled. That guy's a lunatic, and there's a really funny image of him getting arrested too, which is great. As ALX said, he doesn't even need to change clothes. They need to take him right to prison.
Yeah, just throw him in the cell. He'll fit in quite well.
All right. That was definitely one of the funniest moments. The most surprising moment was Donald Trump stopping at a pastry store before he took off, something that we were not expecting at all. Danny, can you fill the audience in on once again, what did Donald Trump do? Where did he go?
Yeah, so this is like a South Florida staple, especially in Miami. It's located in Little Cuba, sort of like the biggest concentration of Cubans you'll find in Miami, which is a city with already a lot of Cubans. And so a lot of these people are people who either fled Cuba themselves or have family in Cuba who are dealing with what is a communist regime over there. And so they know what it's like to have the judicial system sort of weaponized against political enemies. And so I think it's very symbolic that he chose that specific pastry shop to go to and not the Waffle House in this instance, because he was able to connect directly with those people who know what this is really about and the stakes that this really poses to our country. And so he was there. He spoke about how we're a nation in decline. And I think he ordered few guava pastries. So overall, a pretty successful trip.
Yep. Ordered a couple of pastries, man. And people sang him happy birthday. People prayed over him.
Yep.
And it was really, really a powerful moment. Alexandria 825 says, when Jailbird Guy got arrested, he must have said, Biden made me do it. Hey, there you go. Another person being arrested for Biden's crimes. Another guy arrested for Biden's crimes. Thank you, Alexandria 825. Godspeed and God bless you. Okay, here we go. Should we be worried, says Zach Jones, that his campaign with this facade going on? So how do you think creatives and artists can contribute their skills fruitfully? Alex, I want you to answer the first question. I'll answer the second question. My favorite thing for artists is obviously memes and artwork. There's a beautiful painting that we use for it was an AI generated image, but that we were able to create for the cover image for this show. I love art, and I believe that the people of the right are actually the best artists because we actually create art with truth associated with it and beauty still associated with it, not just chaos and demonic energy. So I would say if you're an artist, like, create and continue to create. Maybe you'll be hired by the Trump campaign. ALX, how's this gonna damage Trump's campaign, if any?
I think it's going to strengthen Trump's campaign because right now you're going to see an uptick in support, and then also everyone is calling out all of the other Republican nominees saying to back Trump in this moment. So once again, he's becoming the central figure of the Republican nomination, and basically it's confirming everything he's been saying about the Biden campaign and the Biden administration doing anything that they possibly can to knock him out of the race. So I think it's only going to strengthen his campaign and his support, even with independents, because they're seeing what Biden is doing to take him out of the race. So I think it's going to help him in the long run.
Well, Donald Trump certainly looks unafraid in that badass plane. Certainly looks undeterred as he goes and prays with people and joshes around inside of a bakery. And he's got his swagger, man. You cannot deny him that. He's got his swagger. I like having these back and forths with people who send us super chats. It's fun. Jordan Hall, again, is watching from across the pond, watching from the UK. Jordan Hall, who said that, effectively America is seen as an embarrassment now on the international stage, certainly from the UK, because of the dual system of justice, is what Jordan said. Jordan says, on a positive note, keep up the amazing boycotts. Fight back against indoctrination of our children. Heart emoji. What you do affects this country. Interesting. So he's saying that our victories, Jordan is saying from the UK, that our victories here on the culture issues, like fighting indoctrination and fighting radical ideologies, where we are victorious with Bud Light and Target, inarguably victorious, that has an effect on the whole world. And I believe he's right. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a hilarious clip coming to you. We do want to watch the plane take off, but you got to stick around for Jake Tapper having a apoplectic, tear-filled meltdown watching Donald Trump inside of the Miami cafe. Jake Tapper, Donald Trump essentially owning CNN once more. We're going to cut straight to that as soon as we're done. Just with watching the plane take off. Looks like the plane is in position, ready to take off on the runway. And we did once again play you the most entertaining moments of the man getting arrested here. Meanwhile, we still have Americans in Afghanistan, says Sasquatch 55. I believe that's true. I believe there's still a lot of people that are stuck in Afghanistan. And that were abandoned, effectively, by the Biden White House. Hundreds of them. Donald Trump is taking off. Donald Trump. Clear for takeoff. Here he goes, ladies and gentlemen. As Donald Trump is taking off, let's read from Jed Fensky. Jed Fensky sent 1776. Look at that. Hey. 1776. Based. I love God, family, and country in that order. Let's save America. Boom. Jed, we agree. Jed, we agree. ALX and Danny and I will all nod in agreement together. Thank you, Jed. Thank you. Thank you, Jed. We agree. That was the best nod you could give us, Danny. All right, fine. Not trying to mess up his guapo. Trying to mess up his guapo hair. And there he goes. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. There he goes. Oh. Donald Trump into the sky. Danny. Into the sky. And he's off. Maybe Donald Trump's, a lot of people saying Vivek would be a great running mate. Maybe Donald Trump's running mate should be Corn Pop. You ever thought about that?
Unfortunately, I think Corn Pop is dead.
Oh, no. We covered that, didn't we, actually? Yeah, all right. For Corn Pop, R.I.P. R.I.P. CNN. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been live for the better part of 3 hours and 8 minutes. We wanted to bring you this historic moment. Hundreds of thousands of you joined us live, and we wouldn't be doing this broadcast justice without giving you a salty, salty treat at the end of the broadcast. Jake Tapper soiling his pants, like Joe Biden on a warm summer's day, because Donald Trump went to a store, a bakery in Miami, Listen to Jake Tapper scream that he doesn't want to see Donald Trump greeting supporters and buying people pastries any longer on CNN's airwaves. Watch.
Serious national security laws and then obstructing and refusing to cooperate with the FBI.
Yeah, whatever this spectacle is that's unfolding before us, let's remember what this case is about. Let's remember what this indictment charges. Again, Donald Trump is charged with a series of federal felonies for mishandling the most sensitive government documents that we have and for obstruction of justice, along with Walt Nauta, who is charged with intentionally setting up lies to the grand jury, to the FBI. Any way you look at this, and again, despite whatever may be going on in that restaurant, this case isn't going to be settled legally in a cafe. It's going to be settled in the court based on the facts and law.
The folks in the control room, I don't need to see any more of that. He's trying to turn this in. He's trying to turn it into a spectacle, into a campaign ad. That's enough of that. We've seen it already. Let's go over again the 37 charges that Donald Trump is facing right now. We don't have to go into each one.
Sure.
But Ellie, if you could basically
Guys, hey, ladies and gentlemen, for the hundreds of thousands of you that watched our show, isn't our show more entertaining? Isn't this better than CNN? CNN's they're worth hundreds of dollars as a company. They put a lot more money into their company than we have. People have spent billions of dollars, right, funding CNN. We put together a better broadcast on the fly than CNN had. What a bunch of miserable goblins.
And I love how he needed to put that, they already cut away from it, and then he's like, I don't need to see any more of that.
So CNN may be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but Trump continues to own them for exactly zero. So it's pretty entertaining.
Danny with the great one-liner to end the show. From the Super Chats to end the show. Wojo, I told Hunter Biden a cocaine joke, but he was disappointed it was a one-liner. Very nice. Very nice. Told Hunter Biden a cocaine joke. It was a one-liner. Well done, Wojo. As a father, I got to tell you, really appreciate a good dad joke. Really appreciate the fact that CNN is just absolutely losing it and crying, sobbing, bitter. We will stay joyous. That will be our charge. We want to say to all of you watching, keep your heart. They want to break your spirit. They want you to be as miserable as they are. Misery loves company. Probably something your grandmother used to say to you. And they are miserable, sad, bitter people. I don't want to see any of that. Donald Trump buying people pastries and singing happy birthday. Of course they don't. Because they're absolute jerks. And we don't got to be like them. We don't. We're called for better, higher things. And so thank you for joining us on this uplifting broadcast. We will prove to them that they cannot break us. Joined on this broadcast, of course, all of your super chats, but also by the great ALX. ALX, where can people find your work?
Primarily on Twitter at ALX, but I'm also on Instagram at ALX the Lord, ALX on Truth Social, but primarily on Twitter. That's where I'm growing the most right now.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We can get ALX and Danny's. Can you pop their Twitters up? I think Royce can get your guys' Twitters up real fast. I want to make sure that everybody follow along because we've had some huge milestones for the two of you. Danny, where can people find your work?
Muted.
Up. Danny's muted. Danny's muted.
There we go.
Hey, Danny. I think
trying to silence me. Yeah, Twitter mainly like ALX, so it's Danny D'Urbina is the handle on all platforms.
So we have Danny, who just passed 50. Do I got 51,000? Yes, Danny. Yeah. 51,000 on Twitter. Danny he just turned 21 yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. He wanted to buy a Frosty Bud Light. He's been praying to buy a Bud Light his entire life. That's all he's ever wanted, and now he can no longer buy one. So the runner-up is to get 50,000 followers on Twitter, and he got it. Go follow Danny. And then ALX, what are we at here? 514,000. Boom. Now the march to 1 million begins for ALX, the Lord. Ladies and gentlemen, you must follow those accounts. And I want to toss up Smash Memes. At Smash Memes. She's been helping us behind the scenes producing. Ashley. You're welcome on the show anytime, Ashley. We're going to pull up Ashley's account, though. at Smash Memes. Ash is her username. There we go. Meme queen there. Ash, marching to 10,000 Twitter follows. Go over there and get yourself some spicy memes as Ash helps us produce behind the scenes and does a lot of work for us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, but is also just an incredible patriot from Pennsylvania, and she is the best. Ladies and gentlemen, Rose Love says, Trump, Benny, 2024, love you, Benny. Whoo! You ain't ever going to get me on a federal ballot. Trust me, I don't want that smoke. I don't want that smoke. But Rose Love, we love you. We love all of you. We thank you. We want to create an alternative to CNN, the bitterness, the sadness, the saltiness of all of them. We drink their tears, and we say, God bless you, God, family, country. We'll be back tomorrow. See ya.